Inshallah.
So, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Bukhari, please start.
Thanks a lot. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all to this Association of Pakistani Physician of Northern Europe and Pakistan Doctors Group Riyadh. This is a joint seminar. I welcome you all. This is particularly especially for international medical graduates. I'm greatly honored, we all on behalf of Pakistan Doctors Group in APPNE, we are really honored to have His Excellency Ambassador of Pakistan, Raja Ali Ijaz, and His Excellency High Commissioner of Pakistan to the United Kingdom, Nafis Zakaria. Thank you, sir, for joining us in this session. Pakistan Doctor Group is glad to see today's panelists from UK, the experts from UK, and distinguished guests from Pakistan Embassy, High Commissioner of the United Kingdom, or physician, doctors, executive body members, or no journal body member, Pakistan Doctors Group, all participants. We welcome you to this online session, virtual joint program and a seminar. Inshallah, we'll proceed and we'll update you accordingly. I will start the program with the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I need your attention for a while. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلا من تاب وآمن وعمل عملا صالحا فأولئك يبدل الله سيئاتهم حسنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما ومن تاب وعمل صالحا فإنه يتوب إلى الله متابا صدق الله العظيم. And now the translation of these verses that I recited from Surah Al-Furqan. This part describes the qualities of believers. In this particular verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِلَّا مَنْ تَابَ وَآمَنَ وَعَمِلَ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا. Therefore, those people who did the righteous deed and who believe in Allah and they repent over their sins or over their mistakes or their shortcomings, فَأُولَٰئِكَ يُبَدِّلُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ حَسَنَاتٍ. And for those people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will exchange their sin with good deeds. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all forgiving and merciful. وَمَنْ تَابَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. And those who repented, those who repent, وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا, and do the righteous deed, فَإِنَّهُ يَتُوبُ إِلَى اللَّهِ مَتَابًا. These are indeed the right people who really, in real sense, repented and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward for whatever we hear and in our righteous deed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept that. Jazakallah khairan. So I would like to introduce the mission and vision of Pakistan Doctors Group. Just I will take a few moments. This is a joint seminar. Many of the participants who are joining us from Pakistan, UK, and Saudi Arabia in particular. They are aware it's a great honor and pleasure to introduce the vision and mission of Pakistan Doctors Group. Pakistan Doctors Group has been functioning for more than 3 decades. Since its inception in 1985, Pakistan Doctors Group is active in various fronts. Under the patronage of Ambassador of Pakistan, our group is non-for-profit, non-political group of doctors with 500 registered members for different public, private sectors, universities, and hospitals. We have established constitution, Our team comprises 22 executive body members, with the chairman, Dr. Riaz Khwaja, or president, Dr. Asadullah Romi, a consultant cardiologist at Prince Sultan Military Hospital and a regional advisor of Royal College of Physicians, Edinburgh, UK. Our vice president, Dr. Farooq Pasha, journal and joint secretary. I'm the journal secretary, and Adil Sofi is our joint secretary. We have two senior advisors, Dr. Sohail Enam and Dr. Tanveer Aziz. Pakistan Doctors Group has three major divisions. We have welfare, academic, and social wings. Welfare wing is chaired by our president, Dr. Asadullah Romi, with the team, Dr. Asif Alam and Dr. Lubna Siddiqui. This is our major division as a healthcare service provider for Pakistani community in Riyadh. We organize medical camps, usually biannually, and we have regular clinic at Pakistan Embassy for Pakistani community for these patients. It's pertinent to mention here that our chairman, who is also here with us in this session, Dr. Riaz Khwaja, is the recipient of the highest civil award, Sitara Imtiaz, from the government of Pakistan. I think this is really a great recognition of Pakistan doctors for the services that we are having for the community for the last 3 decades in Riyadh. Thank you, sir. We are really honored, Dr. Riaz Khwaja, for this highest civil award. Our academic committee or academic wing is chaired by Dr. Sohail Enam, and with the member Dr. Tazim Hussain and Dr. Shad Ahmed. They are taking care of the academic activities like seminars and workshops. And you can see that today's event as well is because of their efforts. And I think this is one of the best service that they are providing to junior physicians, interest, and medical graduates. And Dr. Tanveer Aziz is the chairman of the social wing. I think he's got the most toughest and most interesting part of this Pakistan Doctors Group activity, who is bringing together galaxy of these doctors, professionals, organizing different social events like family get-together. And the most popular is our family picnic, annual family picnic. Everybody is aware of that, and those who are living in Riyadh, and His Excellency is also is very fond of and always available, mashallah, for encouraging all our activities. And we also have picnic parties, Eid Milan parties for all Pakistani physicians here. I think if you remember in this COVID situation, in the lockdown, this was really a special challenge for all of us. But particularly for our doctors, physicians, I think it was a tumultuous task, I understand, a toughest situation. Even in this situation, Pakistan Doctors Group continued their clinical services for the community. I would like to mention a few of them. This is a long list of service, but I would just focus on a few of them. First and foremost was the orientation sessions for the community and doctors. We organized virtual programs for the awareness about COVID prevention and how to deal with such situation. That was for all professionals and all the community. And we also recorded video clips in different languages, English, Urdu, and Pashto, because we have a large community from different background, and that was disseminated on social media, and we received a great acknowledgement and applaud about that. And the most important aspect was the clinical service, because we were having a regular clinic when the clinic was closed down because of the lockdown and very strict curfew in Saudi Arabia. We initiated helpline service, that is introducing a 24 hours available online service where patients, we were receiving calls from different patients by our clinic nurse. She would, after initial assessment, would try to arrange a booking for with the specialist, relevant specialist and consultant. And our rota was regularly updated by the welfare wing, and they tailored the need for the community. So they look into the situation where exactly is needed. So they picked all those consultants from different hospitals to provide these services to our patients. And we had free uninterrupted lab investigation, radiology services, pharmacy services. And in the center of Riyadh, if people are aware of that area, is Hara, where we had pharmacy plus services, and about 1,000 patients got benefit from this service. We provided free medication, free lab services, free radiology services. I think that was really a great contribution, and we highly appreciate our general body members or executive body members that they spare no moment, no effort to make sure that the community is receiving all clinical care. Majority of our Pakistani patients, they were admitted in different hospitals. So that was again another way many of their dear ones and their relatives could not get in touch with these patients. So I think Pakistan Doctors Group, alhamdulillah, scattered in different hospitals, in different clusters. Many of them were working as directors in many clinical settings. They helped us a lot. They monitored those patients, they facilitated, made sure that they are getting the right care. And alhamdulillah, they were updating the relatives, the relatives of the patient on regular basis. That was again highly appreciated. So during the lockdown, another aspect that we were looking at, those Pakistani physicians who are on visit to Pakistan, and they were stranded because of the suspension of flights and restriction of the entries to the kingdom. So there was one challenge that all our executive body members, and especially our media secretary, Dr. Mubashir and Dr. Asadullah Romi, they came up with this solution and contacting Ministry of Health, liaison with the Pakistan Embassy. Alhamdulillah, we were able to bring those physicians back in their kingdom, and they are already arrived here, and some of them are arriving, and they have resumed their duties, and they were separated from their families for a long time. So bringing them together was a kind of a family reunion for all of us. And I think the last thing that we mentioned, which is very important, was many of our physicians, they sacrificed their life in this pandemic. And that was very painful and shocking for the entire community, and especially with their families. Pakistan Doctors Group organized virtual condolence. And those family who are in crisis, they were provided right help. There were many families that were in crisis because of the financial situation. They were other than doctors. They were our Pakistani community, poor class, and they didn't have salaries for a very long time. So Pakistan Doctors Group, in coordination with Hajj Group, effectively provided a service. They provided food items for around 7,000 families. Alhamdulillah, that was again highly appreciated by the community, and that was possible because of your help and support. We are so much thankful and so much obliged for all the courtesy and the kindness and the sympathy that you have for the community. And we hope that inshallah we will together continue such services. I will not take further time because today's session is extremely important for our graduates, physicians, all our doctors are here. I will hand over to our president, Dr. Asadullah Romi, for further proceeding of this seminar.
Thank you, Dr. Ashfaq Bukhari, for a nice elaboration of the Pakistan Doctors Group Riyadh. Respected physicians, His Excellency, Mr. Raja Ali Ijaz, Ambassador of Pakistan in Saudi Arabia, His Excellency, Mr. Nafis Zakaria, the High Commissioner of Pakistan, UK. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This combined PDGR or APNI webinar for IMGs, I think giving us a platform to share knowledge, experience, and expertise across the globe. First of all, I would like to thank the PDGR Academic Wing, their extraordinary efforts on organizing this event, especially my academic secretaries, Dr. Shad and Dr. Tazim. Thank you very much. My special gratitude to Dr. Amir Barni, the president of the APNI, his co-partner, Dr. Naseem Waraij, and my General Secretary, Dr. Ashfaq Bukhari Sahab, for giving us this opportunity to bring the physicians of the Middle East and the UK on this arena. And so we can learn from your experiences. It is worth mentioning by Dr. Ashfaq Bukhari about the stranded physicians who brought back to Pakistan, and Dr. Mubashir and Dr. Imran are working hard to bring some private physicians, those who are working in the private sector, still stuck in Pakistan and their families, and they are working hard. So my special thanks and special gratitude to the government of Saudi Arabia, the government of Pakistan and PTGR members for doing this extraordinary job. During this challenging era of the COVID-19 pandemic, we would like to present our special gratitude and salute to our heroes who sacrificed, the physicians who sacrificed their lives to the humankind. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them a highest place in Jannah, and Sabri Jameel to all family members. I will not waste time. I will go to the webinar immediately. In the end, I would like to thanks to His Excellency Ambassador of Pakistan again, the High Commissioner of Pakistan in UK, and all physicians across the globe for their time and sparing your special precious time and attending this event. So now I would like to request His Excellency Ambassador of Pakistan, Mr. Raja Ali Ijaz, for his comments. Please, sir.
Mr. Raj, thank you. Please carry on, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Let me begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to the organizers of this joint seminar. I think I cannot really resist the temptation of commending the organizers for dedicating this seminar to the international medical graduates in both Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries. It's the perfect moment to do so. We all know why, because the world itself is up to a pandemic right now. And no better persons than your own selves to know what exactly has been happening around the globe, which direction are we heading into, and what sort of future does it hold for us in days or months or years to come. So having said all this, let me just recap what I have seen in my humble capacity as the ambassador of Pakistan in the kingdom, and especially the activities that have been taking place by our valiant doctors here in the kingdom. Like I said, very briefly, the COVID-19 struck globally, irrespective of caste, creed, or color. So every one of us to the very end was affected. So what were our challenges? In the kingdom as the ambassador, and I was amply joined by a very able doctors, was to treat the largest known segment of Pakistani community living abroad. So I don't recall, in fact, this is my first time here, but having gone through different annals, different people who have been living here since decades, I really couldn't find a moment when everybody in the kingdom wanted to lean and bank on the Embassy of Pakistan, wanting to know something or the other. So if we are 2.7 million here, roughly we knew we had about 2.4, 2.5 million people wanting to call the consulate, wanting to call the embassy at one given moment. I'll give you my personal experience. My telephone number my cell number would ring at least 25 times in a minute. So I would have about 3 seconds to a call, but could not go beyond the 3 letters of the word hello. So this is how desperate the situation was and probably is right now in the kingdom. So coming back, the combined challenge here of the doctors and us diplomats, if I may put so, was to treat the Pakistanis and perhaps more so to manage them. But alhamdulillah, I must say this, we were very well joined by the doctors. We did our bit, but I really don't know how well we fared. That's for the times to tell. But the doctors did a lot. And I must commend them for their absolute marvelous job that they all have put in. And I really cannot say enough. I'll recap a bit of what is happening. PDGR has, like I said, played a pivotal role. It's braced itself for a colossal humanitarian challenge, like we all know. Smart and precise actions is what it took, particularly when we were facing up to an underprivileged class. Now, this is often said, but less understood. And the doctors here would agree with me that when we look at Saudi Arabia, its canvas, we are looking at a large number of people who have come here as blue-collared employees, and they take turns in their operations. So what does this mean? They live in a typical room of, let's say, 10, 15 people. And when they have had their sleep, they go out to work, and the remaining 15 come in to take the very same spot and sleep on their same spots in the room. So it's basically a turnover that takes place in a typical setup here. Now, this has contributed grossly to the immense circulation, if I may say so, of this wretched disease. And this has proved a very, very uphill task for us, particularly the doctors who were treating all our unfortunate patients. So yes, this is the sort of life that we led to, or we had to face in the kingdom. And it was this backdrop in which we had to operate, not just at the doctor's level, but also at the embassy level, where they would turn up every morning to get some consular services also. So returning, the coronavirus awareness sessions were also conducted by the doctors, as I'm given to understand, and they took ample use of the social media as well, where they tried to disseminate different information levels to different people through different languages. So indeed, a very welcome task. They also had helplines to their service, virtual clinics. Obviously, there was a gap. Obviously, we quite understand when the intellectual level is not up to the mark, we have to come down to a certain level to make people understand. And we still do that at the embassy, and I'm sure the doctors are also equally up to it. Lab investigations and pharmacy services were there. But then, as ambassador of Pakistan, I think I must say a few things if I want to justify my position. First is reach out to every family who has lost a loved one, and on behalf of the government of Pakistan and on behalf of my own office, my own officers and staff, express our deepest condolences to their families. It's an irreparable damage, which I hope one day when they look back, they can use this opportunity to educate or instill values into the generations that are yet to come. The next major point, perhaps larger than life, would be those doctors who have lost their lives in the course of duty here. I have a few names with me, Dr. Naeem Khalid Sahib, Dr. Kamran Alam, Dr. Abdul Ghani, and Dr. Jamshed. These are just a few of the soldiers from this very valiant brigade who have laid down their lives. And I'm sure that their services will be very long remembered. At least with us, we're very proud of them. And I must also make a mention of the Saudi government here, who left no stone unturned to raise our flag to the highest pole and in defining the roles of these doctors in the local community here. So I'm sure Dr. Saab would agree with me that the Saudis really acknowledged the support and the role that they played here, the doctors who have lost their lives. Last but not the least, I take my hats off to PDGR for being so very helpful in opening up a new vista for the doctors who were in Pakistan before the onset of COVID-19. And Dr. Rumi had a word with me, and he wanted, in fact, he requested if we could do something to get those doctors back on track in the kingdom so that they could help fight the COVID-19 in kingdom. This is in addition to a very normal application, that being that their families were here or part of the families were here, and it would have also meant a family reunion. So Alhamdulillah, the embassy could play a bit of its role. And I'm told by Dr. Rumi that most of the doctors, I would say, are back in position in the kingdom, though right now quarantined for some time, but happy to have them back. And the rest would be following suit in the coming few days. So this is an amazing, amazing development. I think very few of us know of people leaving a country to take up the professions, particularly Saudis, who have not yet opened their doors for legal residents to return, apart from the doctors. So it's a very welcome development here. To bring my small sermon to its concluding part, I think we are just into this battle. It's a long-drawn war that we're looking into. It's a marathon, not a short race. And the doctors, the brigade of doctors are up to it. I think we need to learn from them and we need to stay our positions and we need to help our people, educate them into what has come our way and how lives will now be transformed in the years ahead. Before I ask for your leave, I would also like to be on record and thank my host government here, the host state, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for being very considerate towards Pakistanis in this unfortunate development. Never at any stage did they say that the Pakistanis should return to Pakistan. I think they were kept here, they were provided free of cost treatment, and they were given the best of care that at least I as an ambassador can think of, and for which I am deeply grateful to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time, and I look forward to being a part of this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. Thanks a lot for your nice comments and address to the community. Now I would like to request President of APNI, Dr. Amir Marni, to take over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Asad, and Assalamu alaikum, everybody, wherever you are, and thank you for joining us. My name is Amir Marni. I am the president of APNI, the Association of Pakistani Physicians of Northern Europe. We came together very quickly through the excellent contributions and Koshish-e-Kavish kehle of Asadullah Rumi and Nasim Varaich, who got together, and we came up with this idea of doing something for our international medical graduates across the world, but mostly focusing on Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries. So thank you, Asad, for all your time and help. Thank you, Dr. Bukhari, especially this afternoon, where you were very patiently working with us to sort this seminar out for tonight. Thank you, the Ambassador of Pakistan to Saudi Arabia, Mr. Raja Saab. I really appreciate your time for coming and joining us. And Mr. Nafeez Zakaria, who shall be talking shortly, the High Commissioner of Pakistan, His Excellency. So again, thank you to all of you for your time. APNI, just a very brief, quick update about APNI. As we said, we are a Northern European organization. We are a truly democratic organization. We are a nascent organization. By that I mean we have been in function for about a year and a half now, but we were in the making for a few years. And now that we took over in February 2019, after a formal process of elections, we were imposed. An executive committee was formed of 15 executive members, including 5 post holders, the president, the general secretary, social secretary, and treasurer, and a joint secretary, and then we had 4 trustees and other 10 executive members. We've worked very hard over the last year. And this is, I think, a result of the hard work we put in, that hey, we are together, working collaboratively, synergistically, hoping to move forward together to help our international medical graduates, which is just one of the visions we have as a organization. We are academic, educational, we are working towards charitable causes, we are working towards social and other causes, and also to ensure that our IMGs, wherever they come from, Pakistan, or they come as second or third generation of British Asian or European Asian children, that we look after them and we provide them a singular platform to raise their concern causes and to support them as they move forward. Today's webinar is all about the IMGs. So without further ado, I would like to request His Excellency, Mr. Nafeez Zakaria, the High Commissioner of Pakistan, to say a few words. I'm going to unmute Mr. Zakaria and request him to please say a few words. So if you could unmute yourself, sir. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, Raja Ali Ijaz, Ambassador, my dear colleague. Thank you, Amir, for the invite. Thank you, Asadullah Saab, for the kind words you have used. And you might be aware that I'm also a patron of APNI. The name itself is such that it gives you a sense of belonging and sense of ownership. Besides APNI, there are other associations which cover the rest of the UK. We are very proud of our doctors community here. There is a significant presence of doctors community from Pakistan in this country. I think it's about 7% of the total doctors population comes from Pakistan. They are doing a great job not only providing services to the humanity or the people over here, but they are also contributing significantly to the GDP, to the economy of this country. I would like to join my colleague, Ambassador Raja Ali Ijaz, in expressing my condolences to the families whose loved ones have lost their lives in the fight against COVID-19 and this coronavirus. I also want to pay tribute to the doctors community who were the frontline bravehearts who lost their lives and rendered ultimate sacrifices while serving the humanity. They're still fighting. I salute these soldiers who are beside all the perils and dangers they are exposed to. they and their families have actually put up an excellent, very brave show. I'll not go into the details of APNE as to what APNE does. Amer has very candidly and elaborately mentioned as to what they do, but I must say that we are very proud of APNE. We're very proud of all the Pakistani doctors, not just here in UK, but all across the world. APNE has been actually holding the camps in Pakistan to provide relief to the common people. They have been actually extending their services to common Pakistani men and women and others in Pakistan through telemedicine and through virtual consultations. I also want to say that during this, we are already into a phase where the entire world is facing. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are facing a very challenging time, and this COVID-19 challenge has actually provided us an opportunity to learn a lot. We faced a lot of things, and I want to commend the doctors community here that they not only provided relief to the patients and those who were actually needed their medical support, but they also extended support to those who were stranded here and they belong to their own community, and they also extended a helping hand to Pakistani community, Pakistanis who were stranded here. It was a very unique experience for us as the High Commission. I was entrusted with the responsibility of facilitating the repatriation of all these stranded people here. We had thousands of them. We still have a lot of people stranded here. We actually coordinated with the government of Pakistan. PIA played an excellent role, and the PIA ran special flights. Government of Pakistan extended full support to us, and we were able to repatriate more than 3,000 people from here, including a large number of doctors as well. But there are still doctors here who are waiting for their turn to go back or take the exams here, PLAB exam, because everything got cancelled here. But I want to say that in this challenge of COVID-19, I also found an opportunity. The opportunity was to see how Pakistan could figure into this whole scenario, new domain where there was an element of the aspect of commercial entry into this domain. Pakistan, I contacted the textile manufacturers in Pakistan, and over a period of 4.5 months, I was able to actually mobilize many people in Pakistan, especially the textile sector people whose orders got cancelled, especially in the West, and they were looking for the ways to make up for the losses they had incurred, and also especially they were worried about those petty workers who used to work for them. So what I did was that I invited their attention to the requirement, the huge requirement of personal protective equipment, which got created because of this coronavirus situation here, as also across Europe and also globally. And they started I started gathering people. I started gathering the consultants. I contacted the Minister of Science and Technology, and the institutions, scientific institutions which were there for standardization, but we rarely heard about these people. So what happened that we eventually was able to form a very solid forum in Pakistan, whose members are textile manufacturers. They are now into manufacturing PPE. We were able to make a breakthrough by making indigenous ventilators in Pakistan, a variety of them, meeting the European standards, because we laid the foundation on those standards to build the ventilators. And Alhamdulillah, I was able to get some suppliers who are world-renowned suppliers. Medline, you may have heard. I'm sure the doctors community must be aware of Medline. They're the largest supplier in the world of PPE. And I was able to get some British marketeers who were started marketing our products into British market as well as in EU. So I think this is something which we all need to. This is a learning for us, that amidst challenge of COVID-19, we were able to see the opportunity also for the people in Pakistan, for the business in Pakistan, and also connect Pakistan to in a very different domain with the rest of the world, where there was a huge demand for PPE. They lacked the resources to meet that demand, and we were able to we started bridging the gap. Government of Britain was the first client of the government of Pakistan to get millions of masks, surgical masks from Pakistan, and I'm very happy to note that there had been no complaints in this. I also want to thank United Kingdom, the government, because they extended huge support through WHO to Pakistan to fight the COVID-19 situation in Pakistan. They also extended a lot of support to us in many different ways through different sources for Pakistan to be enabled and develop its capacity. I think I have said enough. I would like to once again express my gratitude. One aspect which I actually wanted to say, but I missed, was that the doctors community, APNE, and their another offshoot is not really offshoot, but they are related to them, is Dogane, the Dow Medical Association, of whom I'm also a patron. They started something which is very heartening, and that was I telling people that ask your children, the third generation Pakistani community, that to ask your children to join this noble profession and increase your strength here in this particular domain. And they started counseling the people, youngsters who were about to graduate, to invite their attention to this field, for them to join the medical field. They also started online counseling of the young doctors, and I'm sure that in this group also I heard that they're fresh graduates who might be willing to or looking forward to come and render their services here in the United Kingdom, which is the world's 5th largest economy and one of the most advanced countries in every sense. So I want to thank APNE, I want to thank Dogane, I want to thank all the doctors community, all the members of doctors community here for their service and for their contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time and kind words. I must thank both the Ambassador of Pakistan, who's patron of PDGR, Mr. Raja Ali Ijaz Sahib, and Mr. Nafis Zakaria Sahib, His Excellency, the High Commissioner of Pakistan to the United Kingdom, for taking the time out and spending some time with us and saying those kind words. You are most welcome to stay with us, but I appreciate that you are extremely busy. Both of you are very busy in other activities. If you want to stay with us for as long as you wish to, please do. And if not, then we would say thank you again and goodbye if you want to leave the proceedings silently, because we will be very swiftly moving on to part B of the event, which is really the major event of tonight. And I must say thank you to all of our participants for waiting patiently all the way through. So thank you, both of you, sir. So moving on for tonight, we have 3 moderators. Mr. Naseem Varais has joined us as well. Myself and we are going to keep an eye on the questions as they move along. Quite a few questions have come through the chat box already. It is my pleasure to inform that we have, mashallah, from the UK, from APNE, we have 4 panelists and 4 mentors. So first with the mentors, my first mentor is Mr. Irfan Akhtar, who is also the General Secretary. And as we go through, we will ask each mentor to please introduce themselves as we go through later on. Second mentor is Dr. Asad Sawal, who is also from the UK and a pediatrician. We have Mr. Amir Khan, who is a surgeon as well, and he's a mentor. And then we have Mr. Shabir Ahmed, another surgeon from the UK, who is also acting as a mentor today. So they will also be taking your questions. On the panel, we have some fantastic doctors, Dr. Bilal Malik, we have Dr. Nabil Sami, we have Dr. Hamza Khokhar, and we have Dr. Raja Adnan. So they are all experts in their field. They will introduce themselves as we go through. So I shall begin with the first question. Quite a few questions will come through, and I would like to ask the first question, and then we will request the moderators to take 1 question each, and then direct them to the panel as panelists as we go through. So quite a few questions came to us initially right at the beginning. And the first question I would like to ask is from a doctor who has asked that after doing MRCP and SCE in dermatology, what are the options in the UK? And what will be the starting job title, like will it be an SHO or a registrar or a consultant? And the second question linked is that, is there any value of FCPS or MCPS dermatology? If a person did MRCP along with FCPS, MCPS Derma, they will be an FCPS dermatology. Will they give that any benefit in the UK? I'm going to request Dr. Bilal to please respond to that question. Dr. Bilal Haider.
Thank you, Dr. Bernie. So guys, my name is Dr. Bilal Malik. I want to say thank you to coming to this event. So I am one of the dermatology trainees here in the UK. So this question is of very much interest of me. So yeah, MRCP is a prerequisite. So it will serve you two things. It will give you registration with the GMC as first. So it is as a postgrad qualification. Plus, it will help you to get the ST3 or specialist training in dermatology as well, because that's one of the prerequisites of that. Now, if you bifurcate it into non-training posts and training posts, now SCE, if you've done that in derma, I'm quite sure there's a lot of jobs that are available in dermatology for trust grade jobs called. So they are trust grade, some are at SHO level, but more is specialty registrar level, which is non-training jobs at the moment. But I'll tell you what's the benefit of the non-training jobs as well. So SCE will take you a step further, okay? When I say a step further, there is a part called CSER. So I have seen different specialty doctors taking that part towards their CSER route, towards their consultant jobs. So an SCE is a prerequisite for that as well. So once you do the MRCP, you've got your SCE, and if you're a specialty doctor, and if you've done your competencies, which are set out by the Joint Royal College Board Training Board, then you are able to go through the CSER route, okay, and apply for the consultancy jobs as well, and specialist registrar, on the specialist register on the GMC. So that serves the first question. So there are a lot of jobs in dermatology, but the selection criteria is quite tough with them as well. So remember that. With regards to the training side of things, I must tell you, you have to go through a lot of hoops. It's not an easy task, to say the least. I went through my training in medicine and then went to dermatology afterwards. And you need to be a really, really good candidate to be there. I think I've seen a couple of people, a few people who had SCE derma as well before they even joined the dermatology. So like if somebody is an FCPS in derma and then they've done SCE and now they've done MRCP as well. So even they didn't get the training posts as well. But I'm not here to discourage you. I'm here to encourage you to take this challenge to come towards derma, doing MRCP and SCE derma as well. Now, the FCPS derma, does it hold any, or MCPS derma, does it hold any value in the UK? Now, any experience in dermatology is seen as golden opportunity for you to get a job here in dermatology, even at the trust grade level. So I think if you have got derma experience like FCPS or MCPS, I think it will hold good for your future as well, and will pave the way for your excellent career in dermatology. So don't lose heart by anything that I've said with regards to the training side of things. It's always hard to get into training, but there are other routes to get to your specialist register at GMC, which is the CSER route. So please do consider dermatology. We are in dire need of dermatology. There are primary dermatology consultant posts that are vacant across the UK, and likewise the other specialty doctor jobs. So please consider this job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bilal, for that very comprehensive answer. I hope that's answered the question as well from the doctor. Before we go to the next question from Naseem Baraj, my General Secretary, friend and colleague, Mr. Irfan Akhtar, would like to make a comment and say a few words. So Irfan Akhtar, you can go ahead, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's such a pleasure to see so many valued doctors, colleagues, and our High Commissioner Nafees Zakaria Saab, and then also the Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Raja Ijaz, Ali Ijaz Saab, present with us, which gives a lot of encouragement to us that not only the professionals but actually politicians are playing a synergistic role while we try to go through this pandemic, but also going forward for so many other things. I just couldn't miss out Raja Ijaz Saab's message on 10 people living in a room. I think that kind of reminded me of good old Bradford, when people would come in shifts and there used to be triple beds in the room where everybody had 7 hours to sleep there. So I think we have moved from there, but perhaps Saudi Arabia still goes through that. There are many challenges, and I think this kind of forum is a very good setting to explore that. And the biggest challenge I thought was, especially, I'm not sure whether Nafees Zakaria Saab is still here or not, but is around immunizations and vaccines, and that is where Muslim countries are far behind. And I think these kind of platforms would be an excellent way to promote, especially Saudi Arabia, for Muslim countries. They have got the money and the wealth and the strength to look into those things. Like that all the vaccines are coming from European countries now for COVID, and none from the Muslim countries. And similar goes to the pediatric immunizations, which is something which perhaps Asadullah can take up, and try to explore if that can be taken up. Yes, IMGs have been an inspiration here. Just to give you an idea of what we are, the GMC has roughly around 100,000 people. Pakistani community is about 12,000 of them. So that we make a reasonable proportion of them. I could see my colleagues from Ireland too, and so that the second biggest part of Pakistani doctors are in Irish Republic, and they are quite a big strength down there. So yeah, so it is wonderful. Again, my compliments to the host, Naseem Waraj, Asadullah Rumi Saab, and the General Secretary, who I just cannot help but say thank you for beautiful Qiraat and the beautiful choice from Quran. Very, very worthy. So, all the best to all the colleagues here.
Thank you, Irfan. Thank you very much for those kind words. Naseem, would you like to ask the question and direct it to Raja Adnan, please?
Thank you so much, everyone, and welcome all. I have got a question written here from audience, and I know that a lot of psychiatric trainees are there, and they would like to know how they can pursue the career in psychiatry in this country, number one. And if somebody has done FCPS and they want to pursue a career further as a consultant, do they still need to take MRC Psych or not? Bilal Bhai.
So thank you very much for the question. First, I'd like to say that there's a lot of shortage of psychiatrists here in UK at different levels. So if you really want to work as a psychiatrist in the UK, you need to sort of look at that option very carefully and closely. There are a lot of opportunities there. Secondly, if you like to work in UK as a psychiatrist, you need to first have GMC registration. And for IMGs, there are different ways to get GMC registration. One of them is doing the PLAB exam, or you can do MRC Psych, full MRC Psych, not just one part of it. The third way is if you can be selected for an MTI scheme. So Royal College of Psychiatrists is running an MTI scheme, and they recruit psychiatrists. For example, people who have done MD or FCPS from Pakistan, they can apply for the MTI scheme. The fourth route is that if you can, sometimes there are some sponsorship posts which does not require GMC registration at the time of application. So if you have experience in Pakistan, you can apply for those posts and get. These posts are rare, but they do come now and then. In terms of becoming a consultant, that's a different sort of question. To become a consultant, you need to be to become a substantive consultant in UK. You need to be on the specialist register. For that, you need to either have CCT or CSER. And if you haven't done MRC Psych, there is an option of going through the CSER route, which people can explore. But you won't get first job in UK is not possible. I don't think it's possible to get as a consultant if you're coming from Pakistan after doing FCPS.
Thank you very much, Raja. I hope that answers the question for our colleagues. Actually, there is a very fantastic generic question. And I'm going to open it to all of my panelists and the mentors. And I'm going to request Mr. Amir Khan to actually come into that question first. But the question is from Inam Huda, which is regarding the GMC registration through sponsorship route. Are there different types of sponsorships? And what are the types that the IMGs should seek for consultant or non-training posts? So I'm going to try and unmute Mr. Amir Khan. Mr. Amir Khan, can you hear us?
I can take it if Amir Khan
Yes,
is.
Irfan, if you take that question first, then we go to Amir Khan after.
Essentially, the double sponsorship program, which used to prevail a long time back, is virtually not practical anymore. The best way of sponsorship as it prevails now is through the Royal Colleges, which has got various medical training initiatives, where the Royal Colleges kind of sponsor you. And then also a big role is being played by College of Physicians and Surgeons for the same thing. The MTI rule, which we call as, perhaps may not be very relevant for the people living in Saudi Arabia or Gulf countries, because MTI program, where the Royal College, independent, all Royal Colleges, psychiatrists, physicians, surgeons, and pathologists, they all kind of give you in all cadres, starting from very juniors to senior people. They do sponsor you for that, but you have to be from the underprivileged world. So, I mean, I can give you an example of my own MTI who could not get through simply because the doctor was working in Saudi Arabia, but then we had to go through a second phase of a reapplication to get them sponsored through the Royal College, because the first preference is always towards the underprivileged countries, and there is a list of underprivileged countries, Pakistan being one of them. The second route, of course, is through College of Physicians and Surgeons, which you guys can try. College of Physicians and Surgeons has got a good liaison across a big footprint in the various trusts of UK, and it regularly enrolls people into various grades, into various specialties, depending upon their demands and the need required. So if you would like to take that opportunity or try to take that route, try to get a consultant from a trust where various MTI programs are prevailing. You can go through the website of Academy of the Medical Royal Colleges to get more information around it and be prepared of how to prepare your application. Equally, you can get through the College of Physicians and Surgeons if you are a member of or a fellow of the College of Physicians and Surgeons. APNE plays a big role in helping out such candidates. So if you want to have more information or a precise information, write to education@apne.uk and you will get good advice over there.
Okay, Ahmed, can I enter in
Very
this?
much. Yes, Afzal Saab, if you would like to say a few words.
I mean, I think that a lot of people in the chat box are asking about FCPS as a basic qualification to enter into the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I think no matter FCPS, are you done in the anesthesia, cardiology, ENT, whatever it is, I think that qualifications, you need to have a British qualification to enter into the training system or enter even to the non-training system. Non-training system will going to take you first, but you need to do the exams before you do any sort of progression, either to the Caesar routes or to the training routes. I mean, FCPS as a fellow, they do not accept you as the qualification equivalent to the local British exam. So I'm afraid whoever is doing this thing, no matter how much experience you have got it, you need to do the British exam first before enter to the either training or non-training pathways, which will going to lead to the specialist register.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Asadullah Rumi, would you like to take a question for the panelists, please?
Yes. I would like to ask a simple question. Any tips regarding the PLAB 2 examination for the students? It's a very common question and everyone is asking. And also, when will the PLAB 2 exam is going to start in UK?
Okay, can we request Hamza Khokhar to please start with that response, and then we'll take it to Shabir Ahmed.
Dr. Hamza Khokhar, can you please come forward and answer to that question? Thank you, Hamza.
I'm trying to unmute you,
Hi
Hamza.
everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for asking this question, and I am aware that a lot of IMGs are very interested in this question now. I'd like to divide my answer into two categories. Now, the way you should actually attempt a PLAB exam is in two parts. Number one, you need to be prepared for, before coming to the UK. So things you need to prepare for before coming and, attending your academy in the exam. So you want to get a good idea of what your finances are. You want to know where you're going to be staying, what academies you're going to be taking. You want to know what sort of timeline you want to have to prepare for the exam. So, my experience was I had about 7 weeks to prepare, which included about 2 weeks of academy and then about 4.5 weeks approximately of sort of preparing on my own for the exam. You want to know where you're going to be living. You want to know what your transport is going to be. So you want to know how far your accommodation is from the academy and how far you're going to be from the exam site. And finally, I think one thing that we do sort of overlook is you want to have, a good idea of what you're going to be wearing on the exam date. So it's very important to have comfortable clothing, which is, following the regulation of the GMC in terms of the PLAB examination, but something you're comfortable in a stressful examination such as a PLAB exam. Now, once you come to the UK and then you start, with the academy, the 2 weeks of the academy itself are pretty straining, and the timings are such that you will be pretty occupied with the academy. And I think the biggest thing that you need to be focusing on in those 2 weeks of academy is that you need to be noting down the red flags, the things that you should not be doing and things you should not be saying in an examination. And you need to be very sort of aware of the language differences and also the cultural differences that exist between the UK and whatever country we may be coming from. So just keep a very good note of the red flags, things you should not be doing and things you should not be saying when you enter the exam. Pick your study partners very wisely. So have up to 2 to 3 study partners. Having more than that, I think, can saturate the limited time that you will have during an examination. And make sure the study partners you pick are, they're very honest with you. Often we have the tendency to study with people that are going to be, sort of just applaud, just saying that you're doing a good job. But you want to have partners that sort of really pick the things that you're doing wrong during that study period. Manage your time really well. So that begins when you're preparing. Each station has approximately, once you enter the station, about 8 minutes. So you want to make sure that when you're preparing the exam that you do it within 6 minutes, so that when you go into the exam scenario, even if you are overrunning, you have been practicing to complete your stations within 8 minutes. Don't memorize. I think one of the biggest mistakes, us IMGs end up, normally making is we end up memorizing notes. Now, the examiners are very sort of clued on into picking up these memorized notes. It's very important not to repeat anything or any script that you may have been giving at these academies. And finally, I think 2 things that I could sort of give you from personal experiences, just a few days before the exam, try to relax. It's a very stressful exam. We come from our home countries, there's a lot at play. Just try and relax because I can guarantee you that relaxation period that you will sort of ensure will serve you well. And during the exam, it's a stressful exam. Even if you think your stations are going not as what you'd hoped, don't worry. Often you'll find that the stations that you do not do well in are the ones that you score highest in. So keep on fighting for every mark, keep on fighting for every station, have a good mentality, keep positive, and I think all the IMGs will do very well.
Thank you so much, Hamza. Shabir, would you like to give some tips for the PLAB exam? Shabir Ahmed.
Yes, thank you very much. And I think Hamza has very in detail explained the procedure. For me, I gave PLAB 18 years ago, so I don't think it will be wise for me to tell anything about the format of the exam. All the wise things are simple things which Hamza has said. To prepare yourself, to be calm on the day, to plan your exams, plan your trip accordingly. What I would try to stick to the question about the resumption of PLAB. Now, in the last few months, because of the COVID pandemic, all of us know that the PLAB 2 exam has been cancelled twice. First in March, and then the revised dates that were given for June, July, they were cancelled again. And that was purely because of logistical issues secondary to the social distancing rules that are being placed in the country because of the COVID pandemic. However, the good news is that GMC has restarted booking for PLAB 2. Now, there were 240 students who have been stuck in the country for about 4 to 5 months now, whose exams have been cancelled twice. Now, naturally, they will be given priority, and the early dates for August and September would be allocated for them. Now, following that, the candidates from across the world are free to book the further slots whenever the first slot is available. And yes, there will be slight change in the format. I've been told that there will be 5 stations which will be telephone based, which was previously not the case in the earlier exams. However, when you come to the academies, which Hamza was mentioning, I'm sure the teachers and the trainers over there will take you through those scenarios and prepare you well for those stations. So there has been a lot of setbacks, a lot of frustration, anxiety among doctors across the world who are looking towards UK to come and pursue their postgraduate career. However, 500,000 people have died in 4 months. So this is something which happens once in a century. So we just have to look at the bright side that we are, alhamdulillah, alive and well, and we, inshallah, these things will be behind us soon, and we will proceed with further efforts in our careers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shabir Ahmed. Shabir Ahmed has worked extremely hard with the Apne task force team, and he knows a lot of the information around PLAB, the current situation, and GMC. We have a task force in place which has been liaising with the GMC as well. So if you have any questions around the PLAB exam and the current scenarios, please email us info@apne.uk or corporate affairs @apne.uk. But the best email is info@apne.uk. So please stay in touch with us.
One clinical tips for the PLAB 2 exam.
Yes, please. I'll stop and then I'll go to Shahid Latif after.
PLAB 2 exam. One important thing is they will going to assess your communication, your clinical skills, how you communicate with the patient. That's some key things for very simple things. Do you have got the ability to communicate with the patient? And that's they're assessing for. And with a small bit of a medical background, that's the whole important. You need to practice to communicate whatever you want to say to the patient. That's important.
Thank you.
Communicate and be a safe doctor. I would just add one line word to what Afzal Bhai was saying.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, both of you. Dr. Shahid Latif has also joined us. Shahid, I would like to take your views on Caesar and MTI in psychiatry. It's been raised a couple of times in the chat box. If you would like to, and then Raja also your opinion on it. So Shahid first and then Raja.
Thank you, Amir, and assalamu alaikum, everybody. The MTI scheme has been around for quite a while, a good period of time, and it's one of the quite well-structured schemes in the UK. MTI, as most of you would know, those that don't, it stands for Medical Training Initiative. The rounds open, or the applications open, those who are interested should start looking at the Royal College of Psychiatrists, the UK one, from November, October or November. Now, what is required? It's pretty much a straightforward process. What's required is that you need 3 years post MBBS experience in psychiatry. You may or may not have your fellowship or your postgrad examination in your home country. But if you have 3 years experience, what you need is you need to start early in planning that if you want to come from for the MTI. It's a period of 2 years and it's at a CT3 level. That's what they focus on. And there are opportunities in various specialities. Most of the trusts who do offer the MTI scheme. It's a 2-year scheme. There's a rotation which takes place every year. So it's a good opportunity and a good way to do it. The only thing is that after 2 years, you have to go back to your home country. But you do get a full GMC registration, and you do have the opportunity to sit the membership exam in the UK. And they are the trusts are most of the trusts are normally quite supportive. In relation to the Caesar scheme, now a lot of changes have taken place over the last especially in the recently, and as Raja was saying earlier on, there is a need and there is a requirement for psychiatrists in the UK. So if anyone who is considering taking up taking up a post or wanting to come to the UK to train in psychiatry, it's the ideal opportunity to do so. You're most welcome to get in contact with Raja or myself for further information. But with the CSER, what is required is that when you come into the post, if you do not get a training post, if you are unable to get a training post, what you can do is you can go into a post which is recognized, and you can spend at least 1 or 2 years. This is obviously post-PLAB. And what you can do is you can gain experience in that, but you have to complete quite a detailed portfolio, assuring that you are able to fill and complete all the forms. It's quite detailed, but what I would urge at the moment is that it is pretty much straightforward at the moment. And what the GMC is doing at the moment, or what they have said just recently, I think only this week, is that they will be offering all CSER, all those applying for CSER, they will be offering them CCTs, meaning that they are making it easier for doctors. So that's all. I don't know whether Raja wants to add anything to that.
Raja, if you'd like to add something, please.
Yes, I think I will say, so I will agree with Dr. Shahid was saying. CSER is possible in psychiatry. If you come here and work here, it's not possible directly to apply for CSER while you're working abroad. But that is something, that is one of the routes which a lot of people have taken. But I must say, in psychiatry, it is easier. But if you're asking from my own experience, it is easier to do MRC Psych and go via the ST route and then to become a consultant, then you go via CSER route, because CSER route can take you years, it can take you more time. At least in my experience, I've seen people spending more time on CSER route. So I would say, if you are a psychiatrist, don't be afraid of MRC Psych. That is that is the exam that you can do. I know many people who have done MRC Psych while they're working abroad, while they're working in Pakistan and all that. So don't be scared of MRC Psych. That's probably the easier route for an international psychiatrist.
Can I come in for CSER, please? There are a lot of questions I'm looking at in the chat box around CSER route. So first and foremost, CSER is not an impossible route. CSER is not a very difficult route. CSER is not something which, is for few only or selected only. Anybody who puts his hard work, dedication will get CSER. There is absolutely no reason for anyone who works hard, put dedicated times in. There is no shortcuts in life. You have to keep that in mind. Now, I must say that the CSER, which Raja was just mentioning, which many years ago, I think 2006, 2010-ish kind of area, you could get a medical CSER or medical specialty CSER. I won't know about psychiatry, but medicine I'm talking about, by taking the same experience outside if it gets accepted by the panel. But now it is all about the Royal College curriculum. So you have to fulfill the same core curriculum which a surgical training, I'm a surgeon, so I'm training, and other people can talk to you about, like Afzal can tell you about pediatrics or Shabi can tell you urology. But as long as you have fulfilled the ISCP curriculum guidance, I see no reason why you can't. But there is a lot of slip between cup and the lips here. That ICP surgical curriculum demands dedication, hard work, and time. If you're ready to put that in, there is no reason to stop. There is nobody stopping you.
Okay.
I still want to add something about pediatrics.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's the crux of it. Okay, if you want to go to the CSER route, you need to be very committed. You need to be very determined. One thing is, it's CSER in different. I'm a CSER assessor in pediatrics. CSER is different in different specialties across the board, and it is very rightly Shahid and Raja said it is demand and supply thing. But the thing is, they are looking for your competencies. They will go to assess you against the competencies of the special registrar. Did you acquire those competencies, yes or no? If yes, where and what's your evidence? You can't say that I've done 20 and you plasties or then you get it. What's your evidence? What was your evidence, and were you logged it, were not logged it? If somebody signed it, somebody seen you doing it. So it's all about the evidence. CSER is about evidence, about competency. So if you want to do CSER, Go to the Royal College website, see the curriculum, look for the competency, assess your application against those competencies. Have you achieved those competencies, ST1, 2, 3? Then there is a chance that you will going to go through the Caesar process. It is not impossible, but it's quite difficult and challenging of getting the evidence of all your competency, all your throughout the work, and that's the key of the Caesar is.
Thank you so much. I have got a question here, which is, I think, in continuation of your Caesar, about the anesthesia, people who have done FCPS in anesthesia and working in Saudi. Have anybody else who wants to answer it?
I can take that.
Yes, Shabi.
Previously, there were 3 specialties in which the FCPS was allowed to have the Part 1 exempted from the initial membership exams. But at the moment, I think anesthesia is the only one. Previously, psychiatry and general medicine, and even before that, gynae was also considered, but not anymore. So if you have a full FCPS, and I repeat FCPS, not MCPS, then your Part 1 or the primary exam, you will get exemption for that, and you can then go for it. But having said that, FCPS is still not, in anesthesia, is still not the exam that will give you a GMC registration. So for GMC registration, either you need to have a membership exam. And one other thing I would like to clarify, especially for my Middle East colleagues, that there is a membership exam which is called as an international exam. That international exam, although it is a Royal College exam, but is not an exam that will automatically give you a PLAB exemption or a GMC registration, whereas an MRCS or MRCP or MRCOG done in UK will get you that. And the reason for that is that the curriculum for the international exam and the curriculum for the UK based exams are different. And there are lots of people who, on the basis of their international membership exams, are hoping to get GMC registration. I'm sorry, I don't want to raise your hopes very much, but as per the GMC guidelines, this is not permissible. And therefore, you would either have to go through the PLAB route or a sponsorship route or any other route, but the international membership exam is not going to allow you. And similarly, a lot of people have done MRC GP International as well. And again, they will fall in the same category, as they would not be supported by the GMC for registration. So be careful about that.
Thank you very much, Shabi. Actually, Dr. Amir, I will continue.
Yes, please.
Shabi, can you, because we are talking about Caesar, so I have a question, continuation with the Caesar, about Caesar hematology consultant, adult hematology consultant. Anyone in the panel who can comment on that? Otherwise, I will proceed to the main question.
I'm not sure whether, so the thing which we have to keep in mind is the fundamentals of a Caesar program. So Caesar program was essentially an alternative route to come onto the specialist register. So as long as the college curricula of that membership exam, whether it is hematology, surgery, urology, pediatrics, each college would have their own competencies written down in a clear, explicit way, very, very clear and explicit way. You see, when the Caesar program started back in 2006 to 2000, I think it was the Norwich guy who put the case against them, the PMedB. It was a shifting goalpost. So your first application would go through the PMedB board, and they would say, "Oh, you didn't do, enough of upper GI surgery." So you do the upper GI surgery, put the application, oh no, but now you don't have enough colorectal dissections there. So it was a shifting goalpost. Now, although in many ways become difficult, but in many ways easy, that it is a prescribed prescription for you. You follow that prescription, you get all those competencies signed in a way that rest of the colleagues here, because initially, even the exit exam was not part of that, but now it is. And it kind of matches and follows the same training program as a local graduate would. So unless there is a hematologist here, I think the
thank you, Irfan. We got Iram, the hematologist, I think, one of our executive members. She should be able to help answer this question. Is Iram around here?
Yeah, I can see, if I can see Iram on the list, I will try and unmute him.
Yes, please, unmute
Iram,
him.
carry on, please. Unmute yourself and carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So you can hear me now, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So for hematology specialist training, to enter into the training, you need MRCP, and the exit exam is FRC path or MRC path. So basically, to get a Caesar application to be approved, you will need either equivalent of MRCP, which could be Irish exam, but FCPS medicine is no longer accepted as an equivalent. So the candidates who come from Sri Lanka, they usually have got their MD, and their MD gets approved by the college. So they basically are eligible to apply for Caesar. And we have got a lot of Sri Lankan doctors who come here as an MTI, and then they do 2 or 3 years, and further on they do 3 years, and then 3 years as a trust period, then they do to achieve those competencies, because of course the curriculum has got some competencies which you need to be signed off. So exam FRC path can get you sign off majority of them, but you will need initial medical qualification, which is the membership, and then FRC path, because FRC path on its own will not be make you eligible to get the Caesar application approved or equivalent to CCST.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Iram,
you.
for that. I'm going to
Amir, I'll
request,
take another question.
before you go to the next question, Asad, I think we have a friend, a colleague from Ireland, Dr. Tariq, who wants to talk about the Irish perspective of Caesar. So we can close the Caesar topic and then we can move on to the next question. So I'm just looking for Dr. Tariq. He is here somewhere. Can you unmute yourself, Tariq? No, I think I'm not sure if we lost him, but he was here.
Yeah, he is here. I will unmute him. IPMA.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yes, please
Yeah,
unmute
he's
him.
there.
If you see him, please unmute him. Okay, we'll come back to Dr. Tariq in a bit. So Asad, would you like to ask the next question, please?
It's a very common question.
Hello. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Tariq. Please go ahead.
There we are. Thank you. Please
Hi there. First of all, I just want to say thank you very much for Apni and our colleague from Saudi. So I just want to put our perspective from Irish Medical Council point of view. I'm a pediatrician. I'm working here in Ireland as a pediatric consultant. So I just want to say, if you want to work in pediatric or any specialty in Ireland, so the first 2 years you need to do BST, which is a basic specialty training. And being a pediatric, out of those 2 years, 6-month neonate will be compulsory. And then those who has done 2-year BST, then they need to have their MRCPI or MRCPCH, and then they can apply for a specialist registrar. Or if they have a 5-year training and they can show that this training is equal and parallel to the SPR training, then they can apply for specialist registration in Irish Medical Council. Their application they will apply in Irish Medical Council, but their application will go to the pediatric faculty in RCPI. So they will assess their application and then they will write back to the Medical Council. So that's how in Republic of Ireland, our Irish Medical Council Caesar application will work.
Thank you. Back to Asad.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tariq and Dr. Amir. There's a very common question after clearing the PLAB exam: how to apply for the job, where to apply, which city we should aim for. And Dr. Amir, we have a couple of CVs in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh, those who passed the GMC before the COVID-19, and they are not getting a job. So is the APNI can help these individuals in pursuing their career in UK? So the questions to you, Dr. Khogar or Dr. Shabi maybe?
I'm going to direct this first to Nabil Sami because he is going to join us in the UK soon. I would like to request Nabil to respond to that question. How do you apply for a job once you pass your plan?
Okay, now I'd like to thank everybody on the panel for APPNE for inviting me here, and I'd like to also thank all the participants. This is a learning session, I think, for both sides. So having said that, once you get your GMC registration and you're done with your FY1, you apply for a job, right? There are various websites that are there. There's NHS jobs, etc. So you have to go track jobs. You have to go through them. Okay. Now there is this thing that 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 there is no job, etc. I do understand that there is a lot of frustration that people have to apply for like 200 to 300 job posts. That's because there's a lot of people who cleared the PLAB, and there's a lot of people who have a lot of experience, and those a lot of experience, okay, are going to be considered first. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be considered, because you have to remember that they look at your application holistically and not just piecemeal. Okay. So you have to apply across the board, okay, not just, in a metropolitan venue, but like, a more smaller city, okay. You also have to make sure that the application that you do doesn't have any grammatical errors or, spelling errors. Try to ensure that you have somebody proofread it. Because if you don't have anybody who proofreads it, right, it can be like someone too close to trees in the forest to realize what's going on, right? And when that happens, what it does is it actually detracts from you, because they say, if I can't read it, I can't evaluate it. So therefore, what you need to do is you need to spend that time, okay, doing that. Now, sometimes some people take these clinical attachments. I think in which the light of COVID-19, things are not happening at the moment, but they will happen, and those do provide some references, etc. But also, look at the fact that where are you applying? What are you applying in? The most jobs, for example, are there in acute medicine or emergency medicine? Of course, acute medicine, somebody probably has a lot of experience in what is it called? Internal medicine back home. Emergency medicine is a good starting point because it actually opens the doors to a lot of the other places. And so therefore, applying in a lot of the emergency medicine posts probably would help. Of course, if you apply for things like pediatrics, etc., it would help to have a lot of experience from beforehand. For example, some people may have 2 years experience in Pakistan or, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, etc. So I hope that answers your question.
I would just add that whenever a job is advertised, Asad, please pass this on to your colleagues and juniors in Saudi Arabia, that there is essential criteria and there are desirable criteria. And if people are just blindly applying to jobs in which the essential criteria are not met, be it experience, be it exams, be it some orthopedic jobs would want ATLS and trauma experience and so on, then automatically their applications will not be considered. And this will only raise their frustration as they are blindly applying and not getting any answers.
Thank you,
now, having said that, there are points scoring when you have an audit done or any research done or any publication done. And I've got candidates who are sitting in Pakistan who are applying and they are getting shortlisted every week and who have got absolutely no UK experience. The only thing they have is that they've done clinical audits, they've got some local publications, and when the time comes for scoring the applications, when I have 70, 80 applications in front of me, these are the criteria which differentiate one candidate against the other. If somebody has got a publication, I don't care which journal it was published in or whether it was just a local report somewhere, but that one thing will differentiate and score extra on that candidate compared to the other person who hasn't got that. So the market is very tight because of the COVID-19. The medical staffing of officers were working from home, and there are about 300 to 500 trust grade jobs in the country which have not been advertised starting in August, and the process has been slowed down. And mind you, the overseas doctors, when they come in, they normally start with these non-training trust grade jobs. And hopefully in the next couple of months' time, 3 months' time, once the conditions are better and these jobs are advertised, the market will be much more easier. At the moment, yes, for a job, there is anything between 100 to 200 applications. And that is purely on the basis that jobs are less in the market. But again, this is a temporary thing, and this will ease off. At the moment in the UK, before the COVID, we had 10 to 12,000 junior doctors jobs short. So supply was less and demand was more. So once we get back into the normal routine in a few months' time, there will be much more opportunity. So this is a temporary hiccup. Ask people not to lose heart, not to throw their CVs in the bin. Things will get better in time.
Thank you, Shabir. Amir Khan Saab, would you like to come in with on this question as well about how to best apply for jobs after passing PLAB?
Yeah, thanks very much, Amir. I think I would definitely whatever Shabi said, I'll second that, right? And I think the important thing is to make sure when you apply for a job, you look at what the requirements are and make sure you meet the essential requirements. There's no point of applying a job if you do not meet the essential requirements of that particular job. And other important thing is that if you remember, I think as Shabi said was that for one job, you're getting about 100+ applications. None of the consultants are going through that. What they do is they give it to the medical staffing to just tick box exercise, check essential and desirable, right? And on that basis, people are being shortlisted. As far as I'll just put a couple of comments to the audit. I tell you, I've interviewed in Pakistan quite regularly, and audit is something which our people do not understand. And I would request you all, please read about audit. Please try to do an audit during your job. And it is such an easy topic to do it as long as you got the backing of your consultants. Just do it, because an audit and a paper makes a huge difference in your shortlisting. I would definitely try to do that. And don't get disheartened. I remember when I came to UK, I applied for more than 100 applications and got shortlisted for one and went to the job and got it. It's a matter of getting your foot into the door. And I think you probably will have difficulty to get into training jobs to start with, get into even a non-training jobs, get a trust grade job, start it. Once you're in the job, your consultants will back you and they'll support you to move you forward. So I think that's the only suggestion I can give to people. And the important thing is once you get to the interview stage, please be honest. Don't dig your own grave. Just be honest, say what you know, and just try to be very clear. Something you don't know, say no on it and move forward with it.
Thank you very much. We have some great people speaking. Sorry, I can't see who's speaking. But just to if I can finish here first, there are some great comments coming up in the chat box. So if some of your questions actually are being answered in the chat box for our participants. So keep an eye on the chat box because some really good advice is coming from our colleagues across Ireland, and Dr. Mohsen Subhani has also given us some excellent advice, so has Raja Adnan. So I would go to Asad for the next question. Asad, would you like to pick up a question, and then to Naseem for a question?
Yes, so I have a question. How life of a doctor in the UK? Question mark. Are they comfortable, happy, and satisfied? How is the training and life working in the NHS?
Okay, I'm going to ask Bilal Haider first this question. Bilal Haider.
I think Amir Bhai also wants to answer this question.
Amir Bhai will also. I'll let everybody answer this question. It's an important one. Life in UK as a doctor.
So life in the UK as a doctor is very much rewarding, but at the same time, you're accountable for your actions. So that's the stressful part of it as well. That's the most essential part of it. As Dr. Shabi said before, and Dr. Amir Khan said as well, you have to be a safe doctor. And you shouldn't lie, please. That's the first and important. Honesty and probity is very important. So life as a doctor is, when you come, you don't have the family members along with you. So that can be a difficult part of the journey. But once you have them, I think getting an accommodation, your livelihood in place, I think it's comfortable enough to manage. So you have to budget yourself along the way. So, but keep in mind, it's fine. It's fine when you get the job. So don't be frustrated by the things. The perils are there. But actually, one more thing that nobody has mentioned is after the job, getting indemnity with the Medical Defense Union or MDDUS, whichever. So that's the most important thing as well, that you have to focus for as well, because I've seen a lot of IMGs coming here and they say they want to save that £10 or £110, not giving that Medical Defense Union fee. It's really, really important, really, really important. So safety first, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hamza, please, if you could also answer that question briefly.
I think this is a great question. I think like anything in life, you have to get used to it. You're going to have to spend 6 months getting used to it. Be very realistic. You are going to miss home. You are setting up shop in a foreign country in your 20s or your 30s. So, your bank accounts, etc. It does take 6 months, so be patient. But once you get used to the system and you're settled at work, you have a residence, and you start to discover your hobbies in the country where you're living or the surroundings you're in, it does get a lot better. You know, the salary is more than enough for whatever, you know, specialty or whatever grade at which you're working. And I think in terms of work, you'll find everything is very structured. There's a lot of support. The consultants, the registrars, the nursing staff, you know, the hospitals are set up to support you. So I think, you know, overall, I think, you know, once you get through the initial period, you will find working in the UK as a very pleasant experience and also professionally very rewarding.
Thank you very much. Mohammad Sawal Saab, would you like to add as well?
I think that's a really good question. Amir Khan will going to be add some more thing in it, but I believe it's the same thing. How is you feel working like in Saudi Arabia? You know, it's a you need to adjust a lot of things. But I must say that if you're talking about financial thing, that's totally different. But as far as you're asking about the job satisfaction, I found for the last 30 years, I mean, there's a lot of job satisfaction in working in NHS in a different way. You work in a team, you're well supported, and they're all structured. All the things are being done in a certain ways. There are guidelines, everything else is there. Social life, you develop later on in the life, you can develop good social lives. A lot of good places to see in England. You can go to Europe and everywhere else. So life on the whole, the package, which I usually call as a package, which is your income is a part of that package. The whole as a doctor, I must say is good. I mean, I really recommend that.
Thank you very much. We have a lot of questions around the GP practices. Amir Khan, would you like to come in? I think you raised your hand.
I think this was actually an important question, whoever asked for it. I didn't get the name for that. But it is not a bed of roses, guys. You need to come prepared that you want to work honestly. You will be fully supported by your clinical teams. There is no ho jayega. You have to do things. My only advice would be honest and open. Professional side, it's very good because NHS does support you to do your best professional work and to your abilities. Social life, UK is not bad. If you are coming to UK to make money, it's a wrong place. You'll have a comfortable life and you have a good quality life with professional satisfaction. It's an honest living, and that is important to remember. If you ask me, would I go and start my life somewhere else? To be honest with you, I would say, no, I would start back in the UK again where I was, because I've enjoyed every minute of it. So come prepared. As my colleague said, be honest, be open, right? Ye mat kehna ki yaar ho jayega. Just say rightly whether you can do it or not. If you can't do something, say no to it, right? That I can't do it. And as far as quality of life, we've all enjoyed it. All of the ones who are sitting here, none of them want to probably go anywhere else. They're happy here. So it must be okay. Because I think it depends what you want from life, guys. It's a difficult question.
Very well said.
Irfan, would you come in first and then I'll ask Shabi and then we'll take another question.
So yeah, you know, हम सब लोग दुखी इंसानियत की खिदमत के लिए डॉक्टर बने हैं. So
जब मैट्रिक का इम्तिहान का रिजल्ट आता था ना, जो टॉप करता था वो ये कहता था दुखी इंसानियत की खिदमत करनी है.
So the point is, Dr. Saiban, you know, satisfaction is individual. You know, you pay a price to live in UK. ये आपको एहसास होना चाहिए. जहाँ तक बात finances की हुई है, तो you know, you guys are much better off than us. But the biggest satisfaction I have with that is that I can work as a professional. I can excel in my clinical excellence. And at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, मैंने एक honest days job की और मेरे पैसे जो हैं जो मैं अपने घर ला रहा हूँ वो बड़े हलाल के पैसे होते हैं. So that is a very big satisfaction जब वो करती है. जहाँ तक दूसरी बातें हैं, you have to keep in mind कि आप अपने घर वालों से, अपने नज़दीक लोगों से और कई सूरतों में अपने माँ बाप से दूर हो जाते हैं. And that is a price. जैसे आजकल आप देख रहे हैं कि कोविड हुआ है, you know, many people who have issues back home or bade tragic issues hain, they cannot go back. Similarly, even in good days, you know, you miss your family, you miss your loved ones. So that is one price you pay. क्या हमारी सोशल लाइफ होती है, you know, यहाँ पे आपको हर तरह के लोग मिलते हैं, you know, I have got so many class fellows, you know, very good friends of mine, and you become a different kind of a family, and you know, you take care of each other, and you look after each other, and that is a wonderful association. And I think probably a little idea about Saudi Arabia, the same happens down there. So these are certain challenges. आप लोगों को थोड़ा सा advantage जो थोड़ा सा time मैंने काम किया था Saudi Arabia में, so किसी ने मुझसे पूछा कि what are the plus and minuses. There were a lot of minuses, but the biggest plus was कि मैं वहाँ पे नमाजी बन गया था, and you know, that came automatically with the system. So every area has got its own advantages and disadvantages. बच्चों को यहाँ पे आपको देखना पड़ता है कि you know, कई लोगों के लिए ये बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है कि वो उर्दू बोलना चाहें, उर्दू लिखना चाहें, उनको सब वो चैलेंजेस होते हैं कुछ. जब वो वापस घर जाते हैं पाकिस्तान में तो उनकी कैसे इंटरेक्शन होती है, you know, there are things about it जो कि आपको यहाँ आने से पहले ये एक जो 7 समुंदर पार का सफ़र जो पुराने ज़माने में हुआ करता था, वो 7 समुंदर पार ही है अभी भी. उसको आप गौर से सोचें उसके बारे में. There are good things about it. जहाँ तक clinical work, जहाँ तक social life और जहाँ तक ये जैसे अभी अमीर खान ने कहा कि would I like to stay here? I would say yes, I would like to stay here. Do I miss Pakistan? The answer always remains yes, I do miss Pakistan.
Sorry, Amir, can I just add what Irfan
Yes, please.
said?
Yes, please. We'll move on to the next question.
This is the best country to practice your religion. Whatever religion you are, you can practice is best in this country. No one asks you a question about it, guys. You can do what you like. Every hospital has got a mosque in it now. और बाकायदा जुमे की नमाजें जो होती है जमात के साथ होती है. At least
अगर आप गौर से सोचें जो अमीर भाई कह रहे हैं, UK is the only country where you can make as many mosques, you can you know, develop your own religion. आप अपने कपड़े पहन सकते हैं. Imagine what has happened in Switzerland, you know, so they have banned the minarets. There are in France they have banned to wear the veil up there. Like in England is such a unique country जहाँ पे आप अपने मजहब को बड़े अच्छे तरीके से कर सकते हैं. You know, भाई ने कहा कि you know, every hospital has got a place where you can pray, and there are very good people.
दो बातें मैं कहूँगा quickly
need to move on. We have so many questions on the lot of questions, and I think
let Shabi make his comment and then
one
we need to be focused and concise to answer the questions.
Number
Dr.
one,
Amir, yes, Dr. Shabi, please go ahead.
जी, for junior doctors एक बात की misconception clear कर लें. लोग सोचते हैं कि जी इंग्लैंड जाएं या अमेरिका जाएं. England is different, UK is different, America is different. Do not compare two different systems. अमेरिका में आपको सुबह को 5 बजे उठ के काम पे जाना पड़ता है. इंग्लैंड में ऐसे हालात नहीं है. You will still start working at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. पैसे जो है वो आपको different मिलेंगे. उसमें you have to be realistic about it. And that takes me to my second point, especially for the people who have done their post graduation in Pakistan or in Middle East and who want to move here as a registrar or as a consultant level. Guys, please be very clear in terms of your income or incomes of the salary. I know a lot of people who have had their exams done, who got their GMC registrations, who came here, who got jobs, but when they saw the pay scale levels, they retracted. So don't make high hopes. Do your homework before you make any plans. But the flip side to that is that you are looking towards acquiring a nationality here, which will be a lifelong advantage. I don't want to go into the specifics of that.
Yep.
Similarly, you will have opportunities for universal good quality healthcare, as well as the fact that you will have the opportunity of staying in a European first world country and have excel in your medical practice. So there are pros and cons. You have to strike a balance. आपको बच्चों के एजुकेशन के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेंगी. इस वक्त बेशुमार लोग मिडिल ईस्ट में हैं hundreds की तादाद में डाउ के graduates भी मुझसे contact में हैं. They want to move to UK purely for their children's education. So you have to strike a balance.
Thank you, Shabi. We'll have to move on. There's so many questions coming through. I'm going to go back to Asad to coordinate those questions from Saudi Arabia. So Asad, over to you.
Okay, I mean, there's a question which we know about the answer, but anyway, one lady who passed the MRCP and GMC, she has a more than 6 years experience of endocrinology or rheumatology. She would like to come to UK, and she's asking how to get a job and how to get the specialized training in UK.
Amir Khan, can we direct this to you first?
Yeah, I think if she's done an MRCP and she's got a 6 years experience behind her, she's a very strong candidate. What she needs to do is to first get her foot into UK. And to get foot into medicine, it'll be best way would be to enter, apply for a staff grade job, get in, right? Once she's in that, they will recognize her potentials and she's got a fair chance of developing and getting into a training program or getting recognition. Other way is to spend more time wherever she is and apply from there for CCST route.
Thank you. Naseem Baraj, would you like to come in as well on this question?
I think Bilal wants to say something.
Bilal, yes, Bilal, we can go to Bilal. Bilal, please.
I think Dr. Amir Khan has validly said it, so I was about to say the same. So thank you, Dr.
Okay, so we'll go swiftly back to Asad. Asad, next.
Okay. What are the requirements for the GMC, for the junior doctors? They would like to know the basic requirements for the GMC registration.
You can
let me just.
Hamza and Naseem.
First of all, you need to do an internship. You need to have a valid internship. So that means 6 months minimum general medicine and allied internship. And you need to have 6 months of general surgery or allied specialties internship. You need to have given your PLAB examinations if that's the route you're doing, or you've done a membership exam. And then you need English competencies. So that can be IELTS or an OET. Once you've done that, you can pretty much apply for a GMC registration.
Thank you. And Nabil, would you like to add to that, please?
I think he's muted. So just a couple of things to clarify here with your question, Asad. One is once you do a PLAB, you apply for the jobs. There are two types of jobs available in the UK. One is a trust grade job, which is local to the local hospital. The other one is a trainee job. So trainee job is again start from a junior level, like foundation year level, or the middle grade or the SHO level, which is again it's called IMT in medicine and CST in surgery, and then the middle grade job, which is at the registrar grade job. This all depends on your previous experience, and I would recommend if somebody is very junior, done the PLAB part 1, PLAB part 2, he wants to come in here, he should join the foundation year through the proper training program if he's quite fresh, and then go into the training, and then he will progress as per a whole training program here. If they are very experienced and they want to go into their desired field, then they should come and do kind of a trust grade jobs in the particular hospital in the particular field to get 6 months of experience, and then see where they're standing, and then they can apply for the jobs which they qualify for. I recently did the CST jobs interviews in the London, which is centrally placed interviews, and all things which have been discussed before. There is no requirement as such for 6 months previous experience in the UK to get a job. If they are applying for foundation year job, or if they're applying for local trust grade jobs, I have interviewed where they previously had no experience and they got shortlisted. Even I interviewed on the Skype a couple of times and people got the job. But if they're going for the proper CST jobs at SHO level or at the middle grade level, then they're different essential as well as desirable criteria. If they fulfill the essential criteria, then they can be easily shortlisted and interviewed. If they got desirable criteria, then they will be given priority on the other candidates to get this job first. So we can talk about it in full detail, but I'll let Nabil to talk if he wants to have something to say about it.
Nabil, please come in.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Naseem Raj. Yeah, so after you do the PLAB, you get your GMC registration, you go into, you have very many options, okay? Obviously, some people, haven't done FY1 choose to do it over there. That's a big challenge. But if you can get into a trust grade post. That's one option. The other option is get into FY2. If you have a good IELTS score or OET, that is a criteria. That is something you can do if you're very junior, because it helps you, get into the pathway through the foundation year. But it doesn't mean that you can't get your, criteria fulfilled for applying for training onwards after doing the trust grade posts, because you have something known as a competency form, which is a CREST form, and for that, as far as that FY2 form, that they have their own form as well. So it can be done either way, and obviously those who go through the FY1, FY2 pathway, the training pathway, they also can do it. So there are a variety of options that are available, but you have to select the one that actually fits you best, because one size does not fit all.
Thank you. I think my colleague from Ireland would like to make a comment. If he's still here, I can't see him. Amir Khan, would you like to come in first?
Yeah, just to add one thing, because the question was, what are the different ways of getting registration from GMC? One of the other ways is to come through medical training initiative. It depends whether you're coming here to settle in UK and make a career here, or you want to just come to UK to have a training. If you want to just come to UK for training and go back, there is a route called a medical training initiative, for which you do not require all those exams except an English test. And if you fulfill the criteria and be sponsored from here, you can come through that.
Yeah, yeah, Amir, I want to say life is even more pretty and beautiful in Ireland. I just want to say, yeah, because I work in UK and I'm working currently in Ireland. So in Ireland, system is slightly different. We have SHO, then we have registrar, and then we have consultant. So I've seen many people who are coming from Middle East, especially from Saudi to Ireland. So those who are starting their work from SHO, so that's really good, because there is a very much less expectation from SHO compared to registrar, because registrar is next to the consultant. So I will highly recommend those people who want to come to Ireland, they start their career as an SHO, and then they will, after 6 months, if they're good, then they will be promoted to registrar, and then they can pass their exam and enter into system specialist registration, either through SPR route or through alternative pathway. Thank you.
Thank you, Tariq. Asad, back to you.
Yes, so there are a few questions, interesting questions. Chances to get a training post after the age of 50 years?
None.
Can I
I would add something here. There was a graduate entry medicine, and a person who didn't get the job in didn't get the medical school. He did another degree, and he joined the medical school at the age of 48.
No, that's different.
So no, what I'm saying is, to get a job is difficult, but you can get non-training jobs. You can't get the training job. It be difficult.
Can I answer this? Can I answer this?
Please.
Sorry, when a consultant is appointed in NHS, their training, half the volume of money is supplied by the NHS for their training. And it is an investment that the NHS puts in each trainee. And when a trainee completes their training, it is envisaged that that person would at least provide 25 to 30 years of service. Each consultant, on a rough estimate, generates a business of £1 million per year for their trust. So it is purely a business plan. So if somebody is trying to get as a consultant in their 50s or training in 50s, by the time they finish would be another 5 years. And then they will have hardly 10 years of service left. So why would NHS invest in them?
Yeah,
to be honest with you, the answer is very straightforward for that at the age of 50, to start training for a career coming from outside, I don't think there's a chance.
I think I quite agree with you. After the age of 50, if you're after the age of 50, what means 51, 2, 3 mean after the age of 50, the 10 years.
59.
Yeah, up to 59. Yeah, after the age of 50, I'm giving the example of pediatrics. The chances of getting into the training program is nil. No matter what you do, you can go up to the middle grade rota to the non-training post.
Non-training jobs,
yeah. Okay. We've got a colleague, Dr. Mazhar Sheikh from the UK, wants to make a comment. So I'm going to unmute Mazhar Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's an excellent forum. Thanks, Apna and PTGR, for taking the initiative. All colleagues, well done. I think we have tried to cover a lot of topics, but the most important thing regarding somebody who is moving from any part of the world, especially Middle East, they need to know why they're moving to United Kingdom. As Amir Khan has already highlighted, are you planning to settling in for your kids or other reasons? Or is for job security? There are so many factors you need to be clear before making the journey, because whatever you do, you have to work for it. We all belong to the same background, but we have to go through the same cycle. So you need to know why you are coming, and then you can address how. So assumptions, experience, and so forth. So kindly make sure you address, are you coming here for financial? So I think you need to readdress that if you're coming for financial aspects. If you're coming for your kids and so forth, so please look into all those aspects. We are all here to support you. Thank you, Amir.
Thank you, Mazhar. Go back to Asad for the next question, and then to Nassim for the next question.
FCPS Ops and Gynae, 5 years or more experience in Saudi Arabia, how to get in to UK in the clinical practice or the training post?
I want to answer this because I have one of our the same close friends as relatives gone through the same dilemma. FCPS in obstetric and gynae, because I answered this in the chat box. You need to go through the MRCOG exams. The centers are there in Saudi Arabia. There's no entry without MRCOG exam, no matter how much experience you have got. You need to have MRCOG exam, and then you can try, depend upon which level you want to enter. You can enter to the basic training level. If you have been experienced, then you will go to probably in a category of born training doctors and what the Caesar do. But as far as only FCPS and gynae experience, I made inquiry before, although I'm a pediatrician, but the entry is not possible. You need to have MRCOG exams.
Can I just add to that? I think if you got an FCPS and you've got an experience, I would advise you to apply for a trust grade job. If you got exams, rest of the exam lab and everything, apply for a trust grade job, come and start the job. I'm sure you'll be very good in the job and you will impress your consultants, and they will push you after that towards training jobs, and you'll have to do your exams as Afzal Sawal said after that.
Dr. Amir? Yes. Can I take a more question?
Yes, because keep going.
How can we get a sponsorship for GMC registration? I'm looking for a route for special registration in general surgery. In order, I know the 3 routes, but these are impossible for me. Can our Pakistani doctors in UK to help me out either directly or indirectly?
Right. Can I take this question with surgery related? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Shabir,
yeah. So sponsorship route is a specialist route mostly designed for people who have completed their postgraduate training. And in order to get GMC registration via the sponsorship route, number one, you have to fulfill the GMC criteria. On the GMC website, all the essential criteria, all the paperwork that is needed for sponsorship are very clearly listed. And you do need a sponsor in the country, which is normally the Royal College, as well as the fact that you need a postgraduate qualification wherever you're coming from. And it is quite a strenuous process. And at the end of the day, it's not a foolproof process, that there's no guarantee that you will achieve success in that. Whereas lab or MTI or any other process is probably more easier. So it's not impossible. However, it is much more cumbersome as compared to other processes. Having said that, the sponsorship process does not guarantee you that you will be working as a consultant. You will still be working as a registrar or a junior doctor or a under supervised role. So be clear with that. You might be able to get a registration through sponsorship, but you would still be ended up working as a middle grade doctor probably.
Thank you. Raja, would you like to come in? Raja.
Amir, can I just add while Raja is coming on?
Raja is on now. Amir, I just wait for Raja, and then you come after.
What was the question? Sorry, I missed the main question. I'm sorry about that.
Repeat your question, Asad.
Okay, I will take the next question. I'm FCPS ENT head and neck surgery, completed in 2016 training. Which one is from the top university of Pakistan? I'm working in Saudi Arabia in a big tertiary center. I would like to move to Gulf or other European countries. How to pursue the career there?
Okay.
This is beyond my expertise.
I
mean, different question. Amir Khan, and then
it depends what you want to come for. Do you want to come here to settle, or do you want to come here just for training?
Answer the both ways, please.
Answer both ways, sir.
If you are coming for training, then you can come as a sponsored and work here for a training and go back. But if you are coming to settle here, then you need to go through basic exams.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Next question.
Okay. Do we need to cut our pension from our salaries in UK?
Yes, it is.
It is mandatory.
Yes, the pension has got two parts to it. One is which is paid by you, right? And the other part is paid by your employer.
Right. Okay. Dr. Amir, there's a question for you. Do you guys know anything about the UK MLE in the future?
It's at the moment it's a bit of a myth. The people are talking about it. There is no reality to it. GMC has got absolutely no plans about it.
Well, I will just add to it, Shabi. These are talks under discussion and in conversation as we speak. So at the moment, I would just say keep an eye on the GMC website and the page. The UK MLE for international graduates will replace the existing PLAB eventually. But I think at the moment, these are conversations happening. So really not our place to comment because there's nothing confirmed yet.
Yeah, I think it will go with the medical schools examination as well as like in UK. But there's a talk about it, but there's no confirmed or concrete evidence so far.
Okay.
Afzal Sawal wanted to add something.
Sure.
Okay, Afzal Sawal.
Dr. Afzal.
Just wait, he's on mute. Okay, carry on.
Muted again. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think UK MLE is not a myth. First and most important, I had a meeting just before the COVID in Birmingham University, Birmingham Medical School. GMC categorically said it is coming. The kids who've been in year 2 of medical school, they will going to go give the MLE examination. When they come out after MBBS exams and before getting registration to the General Medical Council. Now, how the international medical graduate will going to fit it in? That's a question mark at the moment. But UK MLE is coming. There's no question about it. But how
UK MLE? Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
UK MLE is definitely will going to become. It is already decided. GMC have decided, and its all medical school is conclusively decided that. And Birmingham Medical School I was in the meeting when they took the decision and they told us about the decision. But the international medical graduates, I think after the PLAB, either they will going to give it UK MLE or PLAB will going to be replaced by the UK MLE. This decision has to be taken place in maybe after COVID or when the situation will be.
Dr. Amir, yes, please. Dr. Khan was saying something. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
No, that's fine. Please carry on. Yeah.
Okay. Because we are short of time, so I will take a few more questions. One question is that if there is any scope of person having an MSc or PhD in medical diagnostic ultrasound, and can that person apply for a GMC registration? He is a physician. He has an MSc or PhD in medical diagnostic ultrasound.
I'm not sure.
Can he apply for GMC?
I don't think
any of the panelists take the question. Is there any
Can you repeat the question again, please, Asad? Sorry, I missed it.
Any physician who is working, who had MSc or PhD in medical diagnostic ultrasound, yani ultrasound technicians or ultrasoundologists, can they apply for a GMC registration as a physician?
It is not going to help them with a GMC registration.
I know
if they want to do a MSc or a PhD in a non-clinical field, yes, they can do that in a university setting.
I know a person who's an ultrasonographer and who has done the ultrasound course, they can't register with GMC as a physicians.
Right.
But those people are doing private setup here, and they are earning more than doctors, I can tell you.
But can I suggest something? I think it's better off for that, because to be honest with you, we are not sure about it ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's better for that person to write direct to GMC. They're very good at replying back for it. And they'll reply it according to his own position where he is.
Perfect. There is a very interesting question, Dr. Amer. Is there any other medical related job like opportunities that don't need GMC registration, perhaps like in research and publication or medical education?
Amir Barni.
Amir Barni.
Well, I must admit, this is something which I am not 100% sure about. So I have to be careful about making a comment, because for the GMC, the requirements are very clear cut. And if you look at the website for the GMC, it gives you very clear directions as to how it can be done. Research you can do as an additional to your career, but it really doesn't help you in terms of getting GMC requirement. Really, it comes from after passing the exams or some other means of. But I would always direct people back to the GMC website. But I would definitely try and find out more answers to that question. Raja, would you like to add anything to that question?
No, I just wanted to say that, after you said that at 50 it's difficult to enter the training, the chat box is filled with people are saying, I'm 42, can I get GMC, can I get GP training? Somebody's saying I'm 35. So I mean, I just need to be clear, there is no age limit, this is just our own idea. When you're applying for the job, if you read the job criteria, they never mention that you can't apply if you're over 50 or over 40 or something like that. So I just wanted to clarify that. Sorry.
Dr. Raja, I would like to add on that for all of you guys, those who are in Saudi Arabia. I agree with Dr. Raja. There is no clear age limit written on the GMC. For the GP training post in UK 2020 August, there are a lot of guys from Saudi Arabia, those who are 48, 49, 46 years old, they are starting their training. They got the post and they are starting their job. So I don't think so in the GP training per se, there is limit for the age. I will go for one more question.
To add your question, the GMC registration is required in those circumstances where person is going to deal with patient. If they're not dealing with the patient in the job, they don't require GMC registration, i.e. research or a teaching, like lecture base and things. So that's what the information I gathered once before. If they are going to have any patient interaction at any stage, they will need a GMC registration. So that's the clarification. And there are some other routes like physician assistant has been into the practice at the moment. Few universities are doing this degree where they do have interaction and they do get registered GMC, and that is a route for kind of a people who has done medicine or they want to come back and they want to just do a limited kind of thing. So there's a category called physician assistant.
Associates, you mean, physician associates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Amir, there's one more question. I have done the MRCP in December 2019. I would like to do an audit and quality improvement projects to improve my CV. Any leads or help, please? Maybe Dr. Amir Khan will be answer it.
Yeah. Can you, what I'll do is I'll send you my email address, ask the person to email me the contact and I can advise them.
Dr. Amir, can you write it down on the chat box so that person can get it easily?
I'll do that now.
You can write your email on the box if you want. If you want to share it widely, you can put your email in the chat box for everybody.
I'll do that now.
Thank you. Raja, would you like to add to that question being asked?
I have been, this is something very commonly, the two most common questions asked from me, from IMGs is about how can I improve my CV while I am working in my home country. So I have written a blog and I've shared it on the chat as well. And afterwards I will share it on the comments as well, that how can you improve, and then also on the quality improvement aspect as well. I've got 35 different ideas which you can do in psychiatry while you are working in Pakistan or another country, or while you're in UK as well. So how can you actually do those things? They are just very simple ideas for starters, for the very junior doctors who want to get some ideas around where to start from. So I'll share that. I've already shared in the chat, but I'll share it in the comment box as well from when on the Apne page.
Thank you. Hamza, would you like to add to that as well? It's an important question.
Yeah, I think So I want to tie this question into not just quality improvement and audits, but also sort of what you can do while you're planning to get into the specialty you want. I think the most important thing is you need to plan well beforehand. Whatever specialty you want to get into, and I can see there's a lot of questions regarding core surgical training as well. Find out the checklists for the specialty you want to go for. So core surgical training in particular has a portfolio checklist, which will give you the scores for each thing that they need. So that includes quality improvement projects, that includes research, leadership, teaching, etc. Try to get these completed, or at least something ticked off before you come into the UK. And these things are very doable. And one of the things that are doable are quality improvement projects. And know that even though the audits are sometimes difficult to do because you have a set standard that you need to compare against, you can always do quality improvement projects. And that can be any small thing that you think you can improve on in your own clinical practice. And I was able to do quality improvement projects while I was in my house job in Pakistan. So you can pick any sort of small project that you think, or anything that you can improve on. Speak to your consultants, make that effort, take that initiative, and plan well beforehand. And I think it's something that will not only help you get into a training program, but also get you the first job while coming to the UK. Secondly, two things that you can also do is, number one, show evidence of leadership. And evidence of leadership, you can do in your home countries too. So simple things such as just being a rota coordinator, you will score points off that. So I recently gave my core surgical training interviews, and I was rota coordinator in Pakistan for 6 months, and I got marks for that. Similarly, you can teach medical students while being a house officer. So you can be a teaching assistant to your consultant in whatever specialty you're in, and you will score points off that as well, because you are teaching. Just make sure you get feedback forms. So prepare well beforehand. Make sure you get the portfolio checklists or the checklist for whatever specialty training you want to get into, and try to start scoring those points well beforehand, even before you come into the UK, because that will help you get the job you want initially. And then not only just that, you will actually sort of help your chances into getting into the specialty training you want to.
Thank you. Bilal, would you like to add to that question?
So yeah, audits and QIPs are really important. I think if you know about NICE guidelines, something on that lines, so go to their website, have a look at that, because you might be looking at one or two things from those guidelines being accomplished, or look to your local guidelines, like in your hospital, there's some quality improvement standards are there. So if you can compare that, so because you need, it's not a research project, it's an audit project. Okay, so you need to differentiate. So it's not as hard as you understand it is, but go for it. It's very important. Plus, research side of things, if you need any help writing a research article, so I can help with you with that as well, through Apne as well. So I'm here for you.
Thank you. Bilal, just bear with me, Naseem. If you can just share your email address, Bilal, if you're happy to do that, please put that in the chat box for people to get in touch with you. Dr. Sadia Asfar has been raising her hand for a bit, so I just want to, I've unmuted her. If you want to unmute yourself from your end and ask your question, Dr. Sadia Asfar. If not, then I will go to Dr. Iram Saeed, to Sadia Asfar first, and then Iram Saeed.
I think she's like,
Iram, would you go first then, Iram?
Yeah, I just wanted to add with the age, that because many women are worried. So it's basically to prove your commitment. And if you have utilized your time doing some projects, doing some degree, or doing some useful which you can prove confidently in an interview, that does count. So it's not like just they will disregard you. They do understand in UK that women have to stay at home as well, and they have to make families and everything. So you just need to be a bit confident about yourself and try to prove yourself, and that counts. And also in some specialties which are like men dominating, such as surgery, it will be very difficult. But there are like specialties such as GP, psychiatry, and also pathology. So there's a chance that you can get into these specialties. And also regarding GMC, none of the MSc, Masters, MDs, or the PhDs can give you a registration exemption. And it's only membership exams, and only I think Irish and probably Canadian if I'm not wrong about Canada. So that's the only exemption which you can apply now.
Thank you. Dr.
Hiram,
Afsar has
I'll
raised her
just
hand.
say
So
we are,
Dr.
we are
Afsar.
very, Hiram, I'll just add, we are very friendly to women as well to join surgery as well.
Okay.
Yes, that's a nice one.
Okay, Dr. Afsar, if you could please unmute yourself and ask your question. I'm going to give you that chance because you raised your hand earlier. Dr. Afsar. If not, we will move on to the next question. So Asad, would you like to take the next question or Naseem?
Yeah, there is a
Sorry,
question. Yes.
Sorry, I just want to add on previous question of QIP and audit. There is
Yes,
some.
please. Naseem, just hold on. Dr. Afsar has joined us.
Yeah, hello to everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for giving me the chance. Can you please discuss the scope of emergency physicians there? If you will, just to guide the juniors, which one have more scope, like FRCEM or MRCGP as a family medicine? Which line we should opt for? And regarding, there are some new changes regarding FRCEM. So can you please elaborate that if you have some idea, please? Thank you.
Okay, I'll open it to the panel. Anybody would like to answer that question?
I think emergency medicine consultant Ayaz Abbasi is not here. I can't see him.
I think
And if
I
they can
just-
pose his questions to him.
Can I just help a bit? I think you've got there are two different branches. One is in acute medicine, which is a part of medicine itself, right? And the other one is accident and emergency, which is a different qualification for accident and emergency, because that is the front door of the hospital to a different way. So it depends where you want to go to, Hafsa. If you want to be a physician, you can do acute medicine, and you can also have the specialty with it. And that is through a simple, straightforward MRCP route and the training through medicine itself. But if you want to do emergency medicine from A&E, then you have to be a part of an accident and emergency training program and do a fellowship to the College of Emergency Medicine.
Okay, thank you. Hamza,
And
I'll bring
GP
you
is totally different.
Hamza.
You know, I just like to sort of add on to the previous question, if I may. I think if you do manage to do something in Pakistan or whatever your home country is, for example, QI projects or research projects, make sure that you do present them. Even if it's a departmental meeting, make sure you get that experience and that certificate that you've done a presentation, because that will go a long way. So don't sort of miss opportunities to kill two birds with one stone. If you have done one project, make sure that you sort of maximize, you know, the output you can get from it. If you've got a data collection, try and see if you can do a QI project. Try and see if you can convert it into a research project as well. Make sure you submit it into different conferences, international, national, or even regional. And if that's not possible, make sure you submit or present at a departmental meeting, because you will score highly on the basis of that, and it will go a long way in you trying to get into the specialty you want.
Yeah, just to add on this question, I interviewed for CSC this year for core surgical training. And you can get the marks in audit, but if you have not completed the audit loop, you can't score full marks. So if you want to have full marks in the audit, you have to complete the loop, and if you present it, you can get the presentation numbers on it. And also, do not ever try to fabricate anything, because in the before the interview, we were given a brief. If we find something was fabricated something or is any malicious intention, you can be easily reported to GMC straight from there. So please do not fabricate anything. If you have not done it, don't write it. Otherwise, they can question you there on that audit straight away.
Okay, Asad, any more questions from your end? We'll take a few more. I think we can run up to 9:30. We've exceeded the time, doesn't matter. I think we need to answer those
So
questions.
there's a question for you guys. I'm FCPS Medicine 2008, worked in Saudi Arabia for 2 years. After that, I left the UK and I'm not practicing from last 8 years or 7 years. Never attended any exams. What is the possibility to resuming the practice, particularly in a subspecialty, beside doing a PLAB and working as a SHO? What are the options available for me, being as a trainee or a post-fellowship?
Has the person worked in the UK, you said?
No, she never worked in the UK. She worked in Saudi Arabia for 2 years. She's not practicing from last, or he or she not practicing from last 7 years. Now she's in UK. I think she is in UK. And she would like to join as a trainee or in a fellowship program.
I think the basic fundamentals are the same. He or she needs to go through the PLAB route, get the registration, get into a job, and then after getting the required experience, move into a subspecialty of choice?
So I have a similar case in Midlands here. The lady who was a housewife for 7 years, she wanted to come back to the medicine. She took the PLAB, then she did the attachment for the referees, and after the attachment, she got the job for 6 months. Then she applied for GP jobs, and now she's as a trainee GP at the moment. So there is a route to come back, and that is an easy route is a PLAB route.
And there is a big push to get women back to work who want to come back, who had a career break.
Yep.
Thank you. So we'll take another question, please. Asad or Naseem, if you ask any
If there is
question.
any way to get the clinical attachment for a person who's living in UK? That's a question is coming from the chat box.
I think
so
we've already been working through APNE. We have all APNE members are quite happy to support people. So if there are people who are looking for clinical attachment, I think they can send us an application and we'll try to help them and see who APNE members can support them.
So if they email info@apne.uk and they tell us what they want, we can facilitate. We can't promise and we can't give job, but we can do facilitate and help them and guide them and give mentorship as well.
Absolutely. Also the education@apne.uk email address, so please use that. Nabil, you raised your hand earlier. If you would like to make a comment.
Yeah, I think Dr. M said about Canada, only the FRCP Canada in radiology and in CFPC, Canadian Family Practice College, is recognized for overseas postgraduate training qualification equivalent in order to register with the GMC. LMCC is not recognized. I had to make that clarification if anybody had that, because I think she mentioned about Canada, so they only allow 2 qualifications on their register to go ahead.
Thank you very much. Asad, back to you. Asad, if you're still there. Okay, Naseem, do you have a question? I think we lost Asad. Naseem, if you have a question.
It might be because they had booked it till 9 o'clock, isn't it? So it's now 9:15.
But we are still running it.
No, we are running it, but from their side.
No, it's absolutely fine. Dr. Amir is fine. I think he will join. Probably there's some problem with the connection. Dr. Asad join. I think we can still go because people are still interested.
Yeah.
Any questions on the chat box we missed?
Yeah, there are a few questions here. I can pick up a question for people. So I must thank Raja. Raja has been absolutely brilliant in the chat box. He's been responding to a number of questions, and thank you, Raja, for doing this. We will save the chat. Also, Dr. Mohsin Subhani has been absolutely brilliant. He's responded to a number of queries, and I'm sure some of these have been answered. But certainly, the areas we haven't been able to touch upon, like emergency medicine, we will definitely do something else in the future. This is just the first one. This is not the last of these webinars. We will do more in the future.
Dr. Amir, can I ask a question if you don't mind? One question. I was disconnected by somehow. One question is that I have FCPS and FRCP Edinburgh and FRCP Ireland. Can a person can be registered in GMC?
Okay. Raja, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I know this gentleman.
Raja,
I just want to say that, a lot of people are asking about their postgraduate qualification. I have posted several times in the chat. GMC has got a list of which qualification they accept. So you can go and have a look at the list. If it's in the list, it will tell you MRCP, MRCS, MRC Psych, all of that on the list as well. So you can have a look at that. And then if you are still not sure, you can always email GMC and tell them this is your qualification. Would that be accepted for the GMC registration? That's all. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Dr. Raja.
So I've got a question about any update on health surcharge. Somebody can talk about?
Okay, I probably will have to talk about the health surcharge because that is something which we have been working extremely hard with. So the current news is, if you have been following the news, APNE along with BAPU and DAUK wrote to the government, the British government, raising the query around health surcharge for immigrants in this country. And the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, actually directly quoted from the letter we had written together in the Parliament to the Prime Minister as well. And the next day, the health surcharge was announced to be removed for IMGs. Now, this is at the moment only for those who are actually working, the actual male person working in the NHS. We are following it up. There is obviously due process to it. There will be some slowing of the process. It's under consideration. It will take some time. There is a date at which it will be finishing completely, but that date has not been confirmed yet for me. So what we say is that the health surcharge will be finishing. I would again say, look at the home of his website. Gov.uk is the website for you to go to and check there. So take another question.
There is a guy, I know him. He's a consultant neurosurgeon in our hospital, FCPS, and his wife is a pulmonologist specialist. So he's asking how to get in UK. He's FCPS, and I think he has MRCS as well. He would like to step in UK, he and his wife.
Amir Khan, would you like to take that first? Amir Khan's on a call. Naseem, would you like to take that question?
Yes, I think if he has an MRCS, that is the easiest possible route for him. And there's no need for PLAB if he's already done the MRCS and is registered with any of the Royal College.
Can I just ask a question? Why do they want to move here?
We don't know, sir. That is a big dilemma in the Middle East.
That's what I was going to say. It's very important, to be honest with you, for them to be sure what they want to achieve here. If they are coming here to settle down or children's education, then I think they need to look at a permanent route to make sure they go through their process. If they want to come just for training, then it's a different route.
Okay.
Amir bhai, just to add on to it, we recently appointed somebody in a similar position, a gentleman in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
And his criteria was very straightforward, that they wanted the couple wanted to come over here for the children's education. And they both of them are very happy to carry on in a middle grade role as long as it's permissible. So I think they're very clear in what they want. And I think coming from Middle East, there are a lot of similar queries that are coming, and people are wanting to make the move. Another question I would like to ask Asad actually is that there is lots of issues we hear about non-progression while living in the Middle East in terms of career progression. And that is something which frustrates a lot of people, and people are not very keen on living in Middle East for this purpose. Would you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dr. Farooq Pasha is here. Dr. Farooq Pasha. Dr. Ashfaq Bukhari, can you unmute our Vice President, Dr. Farooq Pasha?
Yeah, okay, let me check. No, Farooq is not here.
I don't see him on the list now.
Yeah, he's not here.
Okay, so I'll tell you, Doctor, in Saudi Arabia, what is happening now from last couple of years, 5-6 years, the training post, they have a 4 years training program in medicine and surgery, and then subspecialty program like 3-4 years, is only for the Saudi citizens. Okay, so those who are trained doctors from UK or from America or abroad, they are coming here as a consultant. Mostly FCPS from Pakistan, they are coming here mostly as a senior registrar or registrar. There are some clear-cut guidelines by the Saudi Commission for the health specialties for them. And then they can be a consultant after 3 years if they fulfill the criteria. But the problem is the junior post. Those who are working as a non-training post, they have no progression in their career. So that is the major issue now in the whole Middle East. They cannot go in a training post, they cannot improve their career. So that is the reason behind the whole exercise. Most of the people in Saudi Arabia, they are not getting the training post. They want to go to UK, Canada, Australia, America for further training. So that is the main idea of this seminar. I think Dr. Shabi, you will satisfy this with this answer, or I can get more.
No, that's fair enough. I just wanted to have an idea what this.
You will be surprised, Dr. Shabi, that Saudi citizens, those who are physicians, they are not getting residency match nowadays. Like 60% get matched, 40% are not matching this year. So you get the answer.
All right. Yep. So before Shabi, can I just request Dr. Sana, who's raised her hand from the audience, to ask a question? Sana, we'll ask you to unmute you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I actually wanted to know that do we need a separate license other than GMC to practice aesthetic medicine in UK? Or does anyone have any idea about practicing aesthetic medicine other than the fields? Yeah.
Bilal has raised his hand first. So Bilal, please.
So aesthetic medicine comes under mostly in the realms of dermatology. It's part of our curriculum. But aesthetic, it's really, really medical legal stuff that goes on. You can practice without a license. Aesthetic. like fillers, like Botoxes, and some nurses are doing it, beauticians are doing it. The courses are quite expensive, but now there's a upturn that they have to have qualifications, level 7 qualifications, or like some professional qualifications behind it. I can tell you most dermatologists even don't go for these type of things because of the underlying medical legal issues, because they're governed by GMC, the nurses are governed by NMCs. So you can still do it, but it's a good money maker, but it can create trouble for you in the short and the long term as well. So if you can take that risk, then fair enough.
Just to add on that, if you want to do aesthetic medicine, you do need to have a prescription certification so that you can prescribe the Botox and stuff. Otherwise, the nurses, on the other hand, pays to the doctor to get prescriptions. So I don't know if things have changed recently.
So they appoint doctors to get their prescriptions signed.
Yes,
think,
but there's a prescription course as well.
Yeah.
Sana, I think it's a very tricky ground, because problem is that yes, you do not require any license to practice to do it. You don't require any qualifications basically. You can do it, but it's a medical legal side of it. If God forbid something goes wrong, you're in trouble. So I think you need to look more into it and see how you're going to do it. There are lots of aesthetic practitioners in UK who are not medically qualified.
Okay, I think, Asad, if we take the last two questions, then we can start to wrap up the session.
I think I think this, because we have a cultural differences. We are living in Middle East and moving from Middle East to UK. People are asking, people are sending me the message on my cell phone. As one question was the life in UK, we already elaborated that one very nicely. How's the raising the kids, the culture differences, schooling? Can you comment on that?
I think, Amir, can I just come into that one?
Yes, please.
Right. I think that's a very it's important question which people need to understand. UK is a place where you have got a freedom to practice what you like, right? And schooling is very good. There are two types of schools in UK. There are state-run schools and there are private schools. So if you want to spend money, you can send children to private schools or you can put them to state schools. There isn't, it isn't, the biggest difference you're going to find is that here you have to do everything yourself. I think people who are coming from Middle East, probably from Middle East or Pakistan, they will probably get used to it. People working for them. Here you have to put your own bins outside. So you've got to be prepared to live a practical life here. So be prepared, guys. As I said earlier, it's not a bed of roses.
Okay, can I add one about the children's? I think this is a very important question, I believe.
Yes.
We have raised all our children, most of us have raised our children over here. And Amir Bhai has very rightly said there's an education system is quite different. Okay, either you pay or you don't pay, or if your child is very brilliant, competitive, you can go for the grammar school, which is a very good school. On the whole, education system is very good in a sense that the schools are working in a very different way to educate people, not only working there academically, but also the non-academic activities are quite a lot. So schooling system is on the whole, depending on which city you end up, on the whole is okay. But if you're sending your children to private school, they're very good. And obviously some state schools are very good.
I think the basic difference to your question, Asad, is it depends where the person come and settle down.
Yeah, that's
There's a wide variety of cultural differences from north to south and in Midlands. If somebody is up north or down south in Torquay or Southampton, you won't get that much liberty which you can see raising your kids in Midlands as well. There's a lot of cultural boundings, and you won't see those cultural boundings down south. So it all depends where you end up and where your kids gonna be raising up. So it's not an easy question to answer. Everybody has got different experience with their kids to be raised. People who are like us, we are very blessed living in the Midlands, and we never felt that we are out of Pakistan or Middle East somewhere, to be honest. And people who are living up north in far end of Scotland, they won't even get halal meat sometimes. So it's a wide variety of living circumstances in UK.
And that's same apply to the schools.
Yes.
Yeah, if there are certain areas you don't see any.
There are no grammar schools.
Okay.
So
I
guys,
think, Dr. Amir, can I take the last question?
Can we, yeah,
We can wrap it up.
Shall we ask the last question and then just wrap up the session?
And now I have in my cell phone, I think 15, 20 messages. I can't read all of it. People keep messaging me. So I'm taking the last question. Any chances of getting an observership while working in Saudi Arabia? Can someone quickly go through SHO/junior post/FY2/CT1/ST1? What do I need to clear CREST for FY2?
So,
anybody?
Hamza might be able to tell you about the.
Because Hamza here, so I'll ask
the-
Hamza. Hamza, please
So
come in.
the CREST form is needed to actually enter or apply for specialty training. So you can get your CREST form signed once you've done about 4 months working in the UK, or alternatively, if you've got a consultant in your home country who has a GMC registration and you've done your ALS and a QI project according to the new CREST form. If you have that signed off, then you can potentially apply for specialty training. So it's a requirement to apply for specialty training, not a requirement to get into F2 necessarily.
And Dr. Hamza, can you put some light on how to get an observership while working in Saudi Arabia?
Right. So while working, so there's different methods. I think the Apne platform is a great platform. You have senior consultants across a whole spectrum of specialties. So number one, I think try emailing them, send your CV and sort of outline what you're looking for. Secondly, what I did in medical school was I sent emails, explaining my situation to multiple consultants, and hopefully you'll be able to get a reply off one of them. But I think because you have the Apna platform available to you, I'd suggest you utilize it. And there are a lot of senior consultants here, and I'm sure a lot of them will be able to help you and also provide mentorship to you. I was lucky; I had a consultant during my medical school who is still my mentor to this day, and who helps me out in every sort of professional and even at times personal decisions. So I think definitely utilize that Apna platform, the Apna platform. Get in touch with them. And secure yourself an internship. And I think you'll pick up not just sort of professionally, but also on a lot of things in terms of at a personal level as well.
So I think Hamza is quite right that we have facilitated a lot of people when they contacted us. We mentor them and we guide them. So there's an email address info@apne.uk. If you give your CV there and ask what you're looking for, some of us can guide you in that circumstances.
Dr. Amir, can you just put your email, the Apna contact addresses or email or website on this chat box? So colleagues, our fellows all over the world can contact you, and you can guide them, mentor them as well.
We have done it, I think at
I'll
least.
just read it one more time. It's info@apne.uk.
I'll type it, Naseem.
I got it. Okay.
So it's there, and then education as well. So I think we've done it many times. I found it much earlier in the chat box. So they're all there, but I have no problem typing it again because that's why we are here, to help.
Wonderful.
So you can also navigate on a website, www.apne.uk. So appne.uk. So it can be easily contactable from there.
Fantastic, lovely.
I think there are still so many questions coming in, and I think at some point we have to say thank you and goodbye to everybody. And I'm sorry that we have to do it, but I think we have to for the fact that it's been nearly 3 hours since we've been here, from 6:30 to 9:30. We must appreciate that. In fact, it's more than 3 hours. And what I would like to request is for Asad to please say his closing remarks, and then myself, and then we'll say thank you to everybody.
Thank you very much, Apni and President Dr. Amir Birni, and a great faculty. Actually, I was learning from these questions. So, and on the behalf of the PDGR, our Excellency, as Ambassador of Pakistan, the patron of the PDGR, we are thankful to the whole faculty, the mentors, the panels, and especially Dr. Amir Birni and Dr. Naseem Warais. This is the idea, and I contacted Naseem, and he was very open-heartedly accepted the idea, and this is the execution. I would say, I think we'll continue this process, and we'll divide into the mentorship for the juniors, and we will learn from your experience and our experience in terms of, scientific sessions or some seminars. So, and we will proceed further. So thank you very much, Dr. Amir and all faculty. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, and I will echo your comments, Asad. I think likewise we are very thankful to Asad, PDGR, Dr. Bukhari, and other colleagues from PDGR who stepped up and made contact and really helped us to put this collaborative webinar together. I must also once again thank His Excellency Mr. Raja Ali Ijaz, the Ambassador of Pakistan to Saudi Arabia, the patron of PDGR, actually, to give some time and talk to us. I found it very beneficial as well. And obviously our great support in the UK, His Excellency Mr. Nafis Zakaria, the High Commissioner to UK from Pakistan, he has always been extremely supportive of Apne and other alumni, as Dugani mentioned. We must thank our mentors, Mr. Irfan Akhtar, Mr. Amir Khan, Mr. Shabi Ahmed, and Dr. Afzal Sawal for their fantastic mentorship, chipping in with some real important bits of information. And as you rightly said, Asad, there were things which I was learning as well. Our lovely panelists, Dr. Raja Adnan Ahmed, Dr. Nabil Sami, Dr. Bilal Malik, and Dr. Hamza Khokar. I must profusely thank you for taking your time out and being able, not for just this time, but 2.5 hours of non-stop questioning and reporting back. It's not an easy task, but I really thank you for your time and effort. Once again, I would like to thank Apne as well, our General Secretary, Mr. Irfan Akhtar, who took the time out, and then Naseem Varaish for making this liaison between Asad and myself. And Asad, I know from good old days from medical school. He's much junior to me, but we know each other very well. And then finally, I must thank Mr. Bukhari, Dr. Bukhari, who's been so kind. He's back online now. And
welcome. I was here the whole session.
You were here the whole
time.
And
off the screen. Yeah, it was nice. I was taking care of the technical things.
And you were indeed, and you did a fantastic job, I must say. And thank you again, not for just now, but also the 2 hours we did in the afternoon. so it takes a lot of effort for people to come together. It's very easy to divide people. I always say dividing is very easy. Uniting is extremely difficult. And we all have our personal opinions, but the whole idea is to come together. We will help Pakistanis no matter where they are, in Pakistan,
Inshallah.
And in Northern Europe. So I think we have all found some benefit from this webinar today. We are apologizing to those who have not been able to answer their questions to, but for the lack of want of time. I will copy the chat. We have recorded this session. It will be available on the YouTube from PDGR and Apne YouTube channel as well, and Apne Facebook page live. And inshallah, when you are happy to do more, Asad and Dr. Bukhari, we are very happy to do more for you.
Sure.
Just to add on, for future.
Naseem, just a second. Naseem, just let me finish and I come to you. Cardiology and emergency medicine were repeatedly asked, as well as general practice. So I think there is already a potential for a webinar around those 3 areas, and I think we'll get an expert panel on those topics. So I'll ask Naseem to say a few words, and then we'll say thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I really just wanted to thank you, everyone. There's a question people who ask like how they can know about our future webinars and future programs. Please keep an eye on our Facebook page, which is Apne Facebook page, and every single thing goes on there. And there are some requests to come up, like as primarily webinar on how to build up your CV and how to secure a job in UK. I will liaise with Asad, and then we can work on it. And hopefully soon, inshallah, we'll do one on that one.
Inshallah. Thank you, Naseem, for that. We are doing one more webinar on this Sunday. It's on cardiorespiratory disease. It's on the Apne platform. So you can log in on Facebook Live again, Apne, cardiorespiratory disease and COVID-19. I think I'm getting tired. Even I can't speak clearly now. But before I go, as we said at the beginning, we must remember our friends, colleagues, healthcare professionals across the world who have lost their lives to this pandemic. So our thoughts and prayers are with all those families who have lost their loved ones, both in the UK and across the world. And quite a few of our friends, colleagues, family, and friends are unwell, both here in Pakistan, is still unwell with COVID-19. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them Shifa Kamal, look after their families.
Ameen, ameen, ameen.
So on that note, we would like to say thank you and goodbye to everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. All the best.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Great. Dr. Amir, you need to conclude the meeting.
We already concluded the meeting.
We concluded. We just
concluded
in the meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can stay back for a bit, Asad and Hamza and Naseem and myself. We can stay back for a bit and let all our participants leave. And then so if I may just request all other guests to kindly leave so we can have a quick feedback session.
Post-mortem meeting.
We
catch up.
We will now stop the recording and we will stop the streaming on Facebook Live. So thank you to all our colleagues and friends watching on Facebook. And inshallah ta'ala, we will be back with another webinar on the 12th of July on the Apne Facebook Live channel, Cardiorespiratory Disease and COVID-19. So thank you very much for watching it on Facebook Live. Goodbye.
असल जब से हम लोग इंग्लिस्तान आए हैं